long as we know what we are.
We're live now. They can hear us talk.
Hey, great.
So let's just do the intro and let's get this shit going.
Go, 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 go.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Hey guys, check this out. I am officially now sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink made to give you focus with no crash. If you guys are like me, you're always needing a burst of energy, especially with one with no crash. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. It keeps me awake with no jitters, guys. Check it out. Merch link is in the bio. Dubby.
Are you ready?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
I'm building an alliance. God bless the internet.
Okay, let's party.
It's showtime.
It's time for the Alliance Guys podcast with your hosts Kevin Frazier, Jaden, DKM, and J. Cal.
Hey everybody. This is the part where you're supposed to see our face. However, whoever produces the show is doing a shitty job. Welcome to the Alliance Guys podcast, a presentation of Alliance. Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. I'm with my pal, Mr. Devin K. Mercer. You know him as DKM. My friend, how are you today?
Almost awake.
Yeah. And hey, guess who I've got with us who's getting ready to jump right on with us? Of course, normally at this time, we go break down the news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. We talk about all the good things that are happening for the NWA. I mean, we talked about it on Tuesday about the now U.S.-based states for the World is a Vampire Tour, and then we'll break down Power. That's what we normally do, but today we're going to do things a little bit different because we have what I like to think maybe the fastest rising star in the National Wrestling Alliance coming on to our show. You know, a few weeks back, we had Pollo on here, and she was such a blast to have. But honestly, I'm looking forward to talking to this guy right here, and that's through Billy Silas. How you doing, my brother?
Oh, doing great, baby. I'm telling you right now, it don't matter if you like to think it, it's the truth. I am the fastest rising star in the NWA, fastest rising star in all professional wrestling, baby. Big Daddy Thrill is on the come up, boys.
So let's talk about the come up, because you kind of, for a lot of us, a lot of the fans that are following the NWA, you just showed up, man. You just walked into that door, and maybe you kicked the damn thing down. I don't know how you want to explain it, but as a guy who lives in Southern California, who's pretty connected to the independent wrestling scene, I didn't know who Silas Mason was. I sure as hell know who you are now, but let's talk about how you broke into the NWA. Let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, well they were down there in my near my hometown. I'm from Blount County actually, but Knoxville's about 20 minutes down the road. So hey, but y'all got something going on there with the audio. It sounds like.
Let me try doing this. There you go.
Perfect, wonderful. Now I can think clearly. The voices are out of my head, boys. I didn't want to come across too crazy right in the beginning. But no, man, I busted down that door. I walked. You see, look how big I am, man. The doors I can barely fit through them anyway. So I just busted straight through that thing. But now I had the glorious, the illustrious, the legendary Dr. Tom Pritchard. He walked up to Mr. Corgan and he introduced me to him. And well, Billy liked what he saw, man. That's 6'6", damn near 300 pounds. The biggest man who ever lived, standing right in front of him.
I mean, I love to hear it. Love the intensity. Where were you before though? Like, I've tried to track down some of your matches from before, and somebody was telling me that maybe you had a few matches out here in California. I've heard other people say that you had some matches out in Kingsport. I mean, where did you get your start?
Man, so I broke into the business here in Tennessee with the crown jewel of the Southeast, Chase Owens.
Oh, okay.
And if y'all trying to know who that guy is, he counts the lights for the Bullet Club, and he carried Kenny Omega's broom for him that one time. He'll like that I said that. But and so I started out. Oh yeah, no, I started out with him, and then I moved to Oregon.
Okay.
So I wrestled in Oregon for a while. Then I moved to Las Vegas, wrestled in Las Vegas, California. So all those places for a little bit, and yeah, it took me a little while. I started wrestling with Dr. Tom about 2019. Started training under him, and I broke my leg actually.
Oh.
Broke it in half. And then my third ever match back from breaking my leg was for the National Wrestling Alliance. And Billy said, "You need to come down to TV because I need a guy like you." And I said, "Mr. Corgan, you're absolutely right. You do need a guy like me."
There's no argument on this side of the table.
I don't think that's what they meant by break a leg.
Well, I took a little. I like to think things a little literally. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, why not? What's the worst that could happen?
Well, you got that out of the way now. You don't have to break another one. You've already done that. You can move on to somebody else's leg.
Oh, no, I do break people's legs all the time. I actually ran into a guy today that I'd snapped his leg previously.
Now, okay. Do we want to get into that, or should we just keep going?
It's a quick story. Guy didn't tap on a heel hook.
Well, hey, man, that's on.
That's what happens if you done it right. They try to make me. Everyone was like, "Oh, do you feel bad about it?" I was like, "No, not at all. I accidentally did it on purpose."
I love it
because you're trying to win with the heel hook, and if the guy's not going to tap, what do you think happens, brother? Your leg gets broke. You submit because you're like, "Oh, I don't want it to break." If it breaks, the match keeps going. If you don't submit,
I mean that's true, man. And let's so. Before Dr. Tom, you were out here in Oregon. You were out here in California. You're out in Vegas. Where were you wrestling in those places? Like,
look at that. Fabulous Freebirds, baby. That's my two dads.
I love it. Well, I mean, and we'll get to that momentarily. We'll talk about, the role of a lifetime. I feel like people were literally talking about you as, man, is that the illegitimate son of Dr. Not Dr. Death, excuse me, Bam Bam Terry Gordy?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, did you get that a lot before the casting? And I'm sure you're going to be getting that a hell of a lot more now.
Well, before I had a beard, and I had dyed my hair to look like Diamond Dallas Page. Okay. But then everybody kept calling me Michael B.S. Hayes. And then it was Chase Stevens who said, he was like, "Hell, man, you talk like Hayes, but you work like Gordy, man." And that's why I started saying, I was like, my two dads are the original Freebirds.
Hey, that's a great comparison. I actually saw someone today. I don't know if they posted it on your Facebook or somewhere, but it was a picture of the old AWA Remco figure of Terry Gordy. And they're like, "Hey, I made a custom Thrubilly." I was like, "That's cheating, man. That's just too easy."
That wasn't just me. I thought someone had done. I don't know how they do those action figures. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. He's done it up to make it look like me. Cool."
So hold tight. I think I have one. Hang on.
Oh, really?
I think I have one.
Also,
now he's going to the toys.
Oh God. Well, I got toys too, but I don't want to be showing them on this podcast.
Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, man. Look, I got my Thrubilly action figure. Oh,
hey, that's my damn, dude. Did you get that custom made? Just tell me that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Custom made.
I need to have the legitimate, the future national champ. I can't get it.
Oh, see, it won't stay focused, but don't worry, boys. We can stay focused. So out in Oregon, I worked for a DOA.
Okay.
And it's Shaft used to work there. What's funny is Shaft worked there after I'd already left, and we've met previous time since then. He lives in Knoxville, so he lives right next to me. Small world, huh?
It is.
Yeah, weird.
Were you at the? Did you work for Vendetta Pro at the Cauliflower Alley Club a few years ago?
I did not.
Okay, I just kind of assumed because there are so many of those dates that there. I honestly, legitimately tried to research you when you broke in because I was like, man, this guy has a great look. I love the personality. Where have I seen him before? And it turns out I just hadn't. But I looked all over to see where you had worked before, and I thought you might have worked the Vendetta Cauliflower Alley Club shows back in the day.
Well, I worked for, like I said, DOA out in Oregon, ECCW up in Vancouver while we were doing that. Did a tour up there, and a couple spot shows here and there in like Eureka, California, some in Southern California. Then like I said, the school that they had DOA, which was like Dr. Cleaver, Derek Drexel, Rock God Ricky Gibson. They had closed down the school. They got one now, but they had closed down the school. So I was like, man, I still need to get some training on my wings. I was about a year and a half in, so I moved down to Las Vegas, and now I trained with Cutthroat Cody Croft at the Future Stars of Wrestling School.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's actually where I met my tag team partner, Dangerous Devin Dixon.
And that's a great name for a tag team, by the way, too. Like how freaking random is that? The Mason Dixon line. That's a tremendous name for a Southern tag team, and that's like
could not come up with it. Whenever we did, we're at Planet Fitness and we'd be working out. We're like, okay, man, Tennessee Studs, Southern. Oh, it's already taken. Southern Justice. Oh, it's already taken. Just kept trying to come up with names, and then we're like, well, why don't we just do Mason Dixon line? I don't know. Sometimes it's right there in front of you and you don't see it.
It's the low.
I guess that's what happened with me. I guess that's what the whole thing was. Is I've been around this whole time. I've been wrestling for almost 10 years now. And it's just now that people are finally starting to realize it. And finally people are like, oh, we want to see good wrestling again. We don't want to just see these kids doing all these flips with these kick pads. Don't look like they could hurt a fly, let alone anyone in the audience. Everything I do in that ring, people are like, man, I don't know if they couldn't survive it. They couldn't survive one chop to the chest. I dare anybody. Try to send them into cardiac arrest, give them mitochondritis.
Well, first of all, I'm not volunteering whatsoever.
No, it's smart on your part.
No, well, because I'm going to see you in St. Louis, I'm sure of it. And, I don't want to piss off somebody that could potentially be challenging for the 10 pounds of gold. That's first and foremost. Plus, I like to think Pollo DeMar is a friend of the show. So the last thing I want to do is piss off her man because,
Oh, a woman scorned. Am I right? A woman scorned. There is nothing worse.
Ain't that so? I'm jumping around here because I've been really excited to have you on this show. DK is too, but he's being quiet for the moment. But I think we can both agree that the breakthrough moment for us. Now, you when you showed up in the NWA, yeah, you had a great look, and Pollo's there. You guys had a great chemistry going. But I think the moment that I said, "Holy shit, this guy's a star," this is the guy that the NWA needs to just start putting that spotlight on. Was right ahead of the live power tapings when you were on local TV with the Kazana family, and you did the promo, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it was something like, I don't know how big the TVs get in Knoxville, and you did the double guns, and I was like, holy shit, and
the largest arms in Blount County, baby.
Hey, let's talk about that for a second, because I think this is when it came to the promo skills, when it came to the overall got my attention. We talked with Pollo that probably the turnaround moment for a lot of us was your match with Davey Richards. Yeah. And so that's when we saw the in-ring skill. But when we saw you do that promo, I remember I turned to somebody, one of my boys that was here with me, and I go, man, this guy reminds me of somebody from, I'm 54 years old. I've been watching wrestling since the late 70s.
Well, you don't look a day over 53, brother.
Yeah, I got right into it. I got right into it as a hardcore fan in '81. With Ric Flair and stuff like that. But I'm sitting there. I go. This is the guy that knows how to do Tennessee promo. I go. This is the guy that knows. I mean, this is like going back and watching some Memphis shows here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's split this into a couple different ways. First of all, did you grow up watching that type of wrestling? Second of all, do you realize how over that is even today, that type of promo? I mean, it grabbed attention. We saw your skills in the ring with Davey Richards in the wrestling ring. We saw your skills outside the wrestling ring with that promo. And that's when we said, Jade and I, we all talked and we said, this man can be a star in wrestling today. He and Pollo together, there's not many stars today anymore. There's not.
Hold on a second. a star, not just in wrestling, but beyond wrestling. A television star.
Well, and then we got
a television star.
Then we got the news about being a Terry Gordy, and we're sitting there going, he could become a crossover.
That's the key, man.
So, tell us a little bit about what did Thrillbilly grow up with, and when did Thrillbilly realize he could be the star that everybody wants to be in the business?
Well, that second question is easy because I've always known that I could be a star. It was one of those things since I was young, man. Like, I never shied away from the camera. My mom used to do all those little, home videos and stuff like that. Or whenever we're doing, little kids doing plays or whatever, I was always the one who wanted to be there first and foremost, center of attention. Never been camera shy. Never been nervous in front of an audience, ever. Not once in my life. So, because I was in a band, I've done theater, I was on the wrestling team, state champion. At no point in time have I ever been nervous in front of people. I actually don't like talking to people one-on-one more than I don't like doing the crowd stuff's easy for me. But and that TV spot was just a chance of showing the most possible people that, because you're right, I can talk. I've always been able to talk. But in the wrestling, obviously that's what we want. We want to watch that wrestling, but the promos are what builds people up to watch the wrestling. You want to be invested in these guys. You want to have stories. You want to have to believe in something, and those promos are what gets people to believe. And so I grew up, though. I'm a little bit younger than you. You're 54. I'm 31. A little bit younger. So I grew up watching Rock, Austin, caught the tail end of WCW, and that's all I watched when I was a kid. But once I got into the business, I didn't have the internet until I already went to college, when I went to UT. Go Vols, by the way. I know we lost in the tournament, but hey, Florida Atlantic was doing good. But so I started really digging down deep into it. Some of the first guys I watched was Barry Windham, Stan Hansen, all these big Southern dudes who are just because before I even got into wrestling, I loved watching wrestling. But so I started watching these guys, and I was like, man, that's me, man. They all kind of had that Southern thing going. They all had that swagger, and they're big athletic dudes that can move around. So it was actually about 2011, 2012 whenever I started watching a lot of that old school stuff, and just really gravitating towards it. And hey, that's you find it when you find it. But when I did find it, I dug down deep into it, and now I'm just a student of the game, baby.
Well, I mean, it's almost like you're an old soul here because, like you said, you're only 31, but you're like the living embodiment of what was great about that Memphis style of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we're not here, honestly, this isn't here to, kiss your ass or anything. This is.
Oh, you can if you want to, though.
No, we're going to leave that to Pollo because we're here to we're going to pump you up, but in a positive way too. Because again, the NWA has a whole bevy of characters, right? And I mean, you've got Tyrus, you've got EC3, you've got Tom Latimer, and there's so many different characters. And the fact that you were able to step in and again differentiate yourself, you're doing something that nobody else on that roster, I think, can bring to the table. And I think that's what makes you very unique and again, an attraction. We're big fans of Jack Stain on this show. Jack Stain to me is money. I feel like he's a guy that's not being used to his fullest potential, but you're a guy that I see man, I'd love to see you two guys go at it because first of all, you're beasts, but second of all, the similar size and strength, man, you guys could tear the house down.
Oh, I'm a little quicker than Jack. So that's the thing, man. That guy's got those big old arms. He used to pop the trunk and lay that wood down to him. But you always got to sit there. And Jackson's a good guy, and I like him. But it comes down to competition, man. I'm winning it, and you got to believe that. And here's the thing, real quick. You said that all these characters do you too, right? All these guys with there's different characters.
Yeah.
This ain't a character, man. A lot of these guys they take off their jacket, they take off their boots, they take off their trunks, they take off whatever gear they have. They go home to their wife and their families, and they get to enjoy not being the EC3, whatever that is, or being Tyrus is pretty much Tyrus. You just see it on Fox News all the time. But a lot of these guys, take it off and they can be told, man, I'm 100% the same guy the entire time. Whenever I step into the locker room, when I step into the ring, when I go home, when I'm at the Denny's, whenever I'm at the Waffle House, whenever I'm just talking to people, it's all Thrillbilly all the time. So it ain't no character. It's just me. The way I can get people to relate ain't by putting on an act. It ain't by putting on airs. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way I get people to relate is I'm just, hey, man, this is me. And if you like it, cool. And if you don't like it, well, look in my eye and see if I care, because I don't. I don't care if a lot of people do like it. Fortunately, people do. You know, people seem to be gravitating towards it, and that's great, man. And I love that they're there. But a lot of those people, when I was on the come up and stuff like that, you know, now you got all these people doing the hanger on thing, doing the whole like, oh, hey, man, do something for me. Oh, do this for me. Oh, hey, can you, brother? You weren't there before, so I don't need you now. Having a good girl like Pollo Del Mar behind me in my corner, you know, giving me a little bit of business advice, giving me a little bit of something else too, has been instrumental in my success, brother.
That's awesome. And again, we're big Pollo fans on here too. Pollo's been on this podcast lots of times. The only complaint we have about Pollo is that the last time you guys were out there together, her jacket wasn't bedazzled enough. But outside of that,
Pollo, you know, they can't get those through TSA all the time. They think you're smuggling diamonds. And I was like, listen here, my baby is the most precious diamond in the world, so y'all better not be getting all handsy with her on those lines. Or I got 2 bombs for you right here.
So tell me about how Mama Mason wrangled you around, because, man, you're all filled up with fire and Mountain Dew right now. I love it.
Can't be doing the Mountain Dew right now. Got that Diet Coke. No free sponsorships, though. No free shout-outs. No, man, my mama, you know, our whole family, we wild, not mild, brother. You see what I did there? So that's wild, not mild. And just the whole family's just a bunch of rednecks, man. If you got all of us to go, we just got done going back to the Texas Roadhouse. Too bad it wasn't Tennessee Roadhouse, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And no, man, we're just a bunch of nuts, man. A bunch of nuts. So she handled it pretty well. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she did it. She has the patience of a saint, and she's just got a mean left hook too.
And a mean left hook.
I was going to say, be honest, you're still scared of her, aren't you?
If y'all want to try and pick a fight with her, go ahead. But I'll be off in the corner, be like, yes, ma'am.
Hey, I follow the lead, man. And if you're saying yes, ma'am, I'm saying yes, ma'am, as well.
Smart man. Hey, that thing ain't just for holding hats, pal.
No, it isn't. Pollo just wants to remind you to take your Benadryl because she knows you're allergic to stray pussycats, and DKM is a grumpy cat. So.
Oh, whoa. Hey, hold on a second there, grumpy cat. Ain't no, sir. Oh, can you get it through the internet? Whoever you got, can you get it through? Because I ain't a grumpy guy.
No.
Okay, I didn't want to get the grump on me.
No, DKM's actually smiling because he's excited. I reached out a few times, but I probably should have just emailed you directly or sent you a private message. But you are somebody that we've definitely wanted on this show for a long time because, again, you know, even back before January, when we were DK and I were both there in New Orleans, Chalmette, however you say that.
Chalmette.
We were there to watch you take on Scion, and how they did you dirty by not having Pollo there to back you up in that matchup. And that's the only reason why Scion's still national champion as far as
demand a recount.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you had the next night you were in action and you were just kicking ass, and it was it was great to see live in person. And I think the experience watching you in New Orleans, like, even further proved to me, like, this guy's a star. This guy needs more opportunity. This guy needs a bigger spotlight. And I feel like the NWA is starting to address that with you. But going back to in the way back machine when you were breaking into the business, and you said you were watching older tapes, older wrestling. Who did you pattern yourself after? Is it directly Bam Bam, Terry Gordy, and Michael PSA, the Freebirds, or was there someone else also?
Well, there is one true Lord and Savior in this world who I try to live my life walking in his shoes and the path that he set forward, and that is Terry Funk. Terry Funk was the man, is the man, will always be the man. He is what a professional wrestler should be, ladies and gentlemen. Everything he did, he could talk, he could work, he made people believe he could do the crazy, he could do technical, every single thing of wrestling. Terry Funk aced it. And then his horse got sick at the Fed, and that how that goes. But honestly, though, like it's funny because when they hollered at me about the movie, the person asked me, "Was like, well, do you know anything about Bam Bam Gordy?" And that was a funny question to me because Terry Bam Bam Gordy's literally my favorite wrestler. As soon as I saw him, when I felt like I said, when I'm going through I finding Barry Windham, Stan Hansen, all these guys, love him to death. But Gordy, man, had a similar look. Now I'm in a little bit better shape. I probably couldn't play him now, but lost about 40 pounds since then, getting pretty jacked, I gotta say. But Gordy, man, it's just how he moved, just how everything about him. I was like, I need to be doing that. And so he was. I was about to say I was been ripping. They asked me if I knew him, if I could do his stuff. I said, brother, I've been ripping his shit off for 7 years. I'm sure I can do it.
He's like the personification of intensity, right? When you see Bam Bam Terry Gordy out there, like he didn't have to say a lot. He just kind of got in that ring, and you see that giant hand come at you, you're in trouble. And I'm
sure, look in the eyes.
Yeah, that too. And when contrarily, like you step in the ring, but you talk too. I mean, you could sit there and get those promos before you jump in that ring. Whose style did you want to emulate when it came to that? Because I mean, again, you're like a natural, but everyone borrows a little bit from everybody, right?
Oh yeah. Jake Roberts once said the smart guys know who to steal their shit from. So, and that's all it is. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. No, man, the guys that again, Funk. If you listen to Funk, because I like cutting promos and outside the ring is one thing. I cut promos during my match. I'll be talking shit to this guy the whole time. One, just because
we hear you sometimes on Power.
No, I mean half the time, because the mics are on the cameras and stuff like that, and the cameras ain't right in the ring. But if you had that ring mic'd up, you'd be hearing me talking all kinds of trash. But that's the whole thing, though. That's all kind of promo is talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're about to fight somebody, especially here in Tennessee, you ain't going to just be like, well, sir, it's time to draw fisticuffs. We shall engage in combat. You're going to be like your mama and your grandmama and your great-grandmama too. And then you're going to just slug them. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to get them all nice and you're going to, lull them into a false insecurity. My dad always told me that sucker punch is the best punch you can throw in a fight. So he did tell me that one time. But, I seen it. He was sitting there, and the statute of limitations has run out on this, so it's fine. But he was sitting there talking to this guy. I'm like 10, 11 years old, something like that. And he was like, now, Bubba, I ain't going to be fighting you. I just want to let you wham! And he just nailed the dude and just dropped him like a bad habit. But Funk talks a lot of shit while he's wrestling, too. You watch his the empty arena match with Lawler, you can hear everything. I'll get you, you son of a bitch. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to beat you down, you jacket. Like the entire time, at no point in time was Terry Funk not talking. That's why I got to have good cardio, because that'll blow you up quick. It ain't just the jumping around and the hopping and all that stuff. It's like imagine you're yelling while you're on a treadmill. You know what I'm saying, son? They're like, whew, they'll get you.
You brought up Terry Gordy and Terry Funk, and they're kind of known as brawlers. But you said especially with Funk, and of course you see it with Terry Gordy too, especially in his Japanese work. They could do the technical. I mean, they could go in and wrestle, so to speak. And you said you were a state champion. And so, I mean, one of the things that I think I've seen with you is that you got that same ability. We look at you and go, oh, well, there's a brawler, there's a trash talker, there's someone who can go in and, pound the snot out of another big guy. But you've shown it, again, especially in the match with David Richards, you can wrestle. You know how to take care of yourself in that ring.
Oh, man, I can grab a hold of two. If you want to see a damn good match where I'm doing some brawling, though, check out AAW on, I believe it's High Spots Network. They got that. Me and Mance Warner, we threw some leather in that match, boys. We threw some leather. I think AAW stands for Alcoholics Anonymous Wrestling, so I ain't going to go. No, but we had a hell of a match there, man. But, yeah, with the technical stuff, I'd love to show more of that technical side. I just ain't got to right now. I always got it in my back pocket. So not only am I a state champion, I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'm a catch wrestling practitioner. So that means if I get a hold of you, it's going to be real. I can't throw a basketball. Sorry, boys. I ain't perfect. I can't throw a football. I don't know how to. I'm not great at pool. I admit it. All right. But if I get my hands a hold of somebody, if I just get these mitts, these big old hands on somebody, they're going down. Now, whether or not it's me knocking their dick in the dirt, or whether it's me grabbing a hold and cranking on somebody, I'll get the job done. I just ain't had to be as technical as I need to be.
Well,
But I always got it. I'm always training to do it. Just because you don't see it, don't mean I ain't training it.
you know, Terry Gordy used to say that, you know, he could do all sorts of things in the ring, but he might not be the best at this, or he may not be the best at that, but he could swing a chair.
Oh, I could swing a cheer better than anybody that ever was, man. Like he said, cheer. That's how he says it. I don't care. We're gonna cheer. I thought I'd have lines in there, so I studied a bunch of his promos. But they got to pay you more if you're a speaking role. But I was talking the whole time during that too. Actually, when we were filming it, they're sitting there like, man, we like watching. Like one of the extras was saying this in the movie. He said, man, you're the most entertaining guy out there because you're actually like talking shit to us. Because I just talk shit to him like it was a wrestling crowd. You know, I'm doing it, might as well. You know,
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, during that whole process, man, I'm just beating on these actors and I'm just talking that shit the whole time.
Please tell me you were talking shit to Zac Efron. Let's hear it.
Oh, but actually, me and Zac Efron are really great friends. You know, good personal friends. He said I was his favorite wrestler, and that's a shoot.
Well, I mean, it's probably a good bet, right? I mean,
I would have said the same thing if I was in his shoes. but to be fair, I'm my favorite wrestler too.
behind Gordy and Papa P.S. Hayes, right?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they had their time.
Yeah, well,
It's my time now, though.
Yeah.
Right.
I got
Why
you.
would I say that they're my favorite if I'm still wrestling? Once I retire, maybe I can look back on my career, look back on theirs, and compare and contrast. But right now, I'm my absolute favorite wrestler of all time.
Well, and you've held gold in a lot of different places too. But I think what we're all waiting for is that opportunity in the NWA, whether it be as a singles competitor, as a tag team wrestler. I mean, we haven't seen you in a lot of tag team action. Obviously, your sights are set on that national championship. What convinced you to pursue that title? What made you want to become the next national champion?
Well, so it starts off, you rule the nation, then you rule the world, boys. You rule the nation, you rule. I want to be the first ever person. Actually, Pollo is more of a historian in terms of this stuff. Show can look up and see if someone's ever done it before. I want to be the first ever person to hold the national and the world title at the same time. Defend them all over the. You know what? I'll clear out my schedule once I got those out and say, hey boys, I'll take on all comers. It don't matter to me at all, Daddy. I'll defend. It's like how these guys in the UFC, they got 2 weight class belts and they only defend it in 1 weight class and end up dropping them. Hell, I'll defend it in both weight classes. I don't give a damn. Give me, and that's the thing. The one opportunity I had at gold so far, Pollo wasn't there. And that old stinky granny, Austin Isle, smelling like a Geritol, rattling and getting the Bengay and rubbing it on his shaky old knees before he gets out. That that's what it was. Is probably got that some icy hot or something like that when he yanked on my damn foot or something like that. It gave me a calf cramp. But that was the one chance I had, and then I beat Kratos after doing a hell of a series of matches with old Kratos there, and then they give EC3 the title shot in Chicago. Well, I'm used to picking, man, I'm from Blount County, man. I had this whole career beforehand that no one cares about. And it's fine. I ain't sitting here calling them sour grapes. I wasn't as prominent as I am now. Why would they care about it? I get it. I understand how this business works. But I've been this good for a long time. It's just now people are seeing it. So I'm used to having to come up from the dirt, not the whole bootstraps thing, because the reason they say that is because it's actually impossible to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I've had a lot of help along the way. I've had a lot of people helping me out. And so I know how it is. Man, I broke my leg, came back from that. I've moved all over the world. I've had no money in my bank account, and now I got a lot of money in my bank account. I know how this thing works, and I'm used to scrapping from the bottom. And if I got to go and win this battle royal here at 312 to get my rightful shot at the national title that should have been mine in the first place, I'll do it. I'll take on every single contender to get to that champion. If I got to knock contenders 5 through 1 down. Hell, I'll take them up 1-on-1, 2-on-1, or 5-on-1. When the thrill Billy's done with them, they're going to need 9-on-1, Daddy.
Well, I think we saw with the spectaculars, you can take care of more than one person at a time.
I didn't think I could get Rolando's big ass up for that thrill ride, but I did it because I believed in myself, boys. That's the thing. You can't doubt your powers unless you want to give powers to your doubts.
I mean, that's why we called this podcast, this episode, Thrill Ride the World, because, man, you did one right after the other, and it just seemed like it was in each one just a little bit even harder, and you just
put a little stank on it.
You did.
Put that stank on it. That stank.
You know, another way in which I find you pretty old school, so to speak, are the subtleties.
Grizzly wintergreen long cut, by the way. Someone asked what my favorite brand shoe was.
Oh. There we go.
That welfare bear.
But both you and Pollo are so good at the subtle little things in the way you look, the way you talk, the way you interact with each other. I mean, when you're in there with the ring in 2 minutes and 12 seconds dealing with the spectaculars and you're getting ready to give one of them the thrill ride and Pollo's just out there with the crowd and she's spinning her hand and, you know, getting everybody working. You guys, it seems like a little thing, but it's so big. You guys have this old school mentality of how to work a crowd, how to put an expression on your face, you know, just everything. It just, I mean, I've not seen somebody like you since, you know, like the likes of Dr. Duff, Steve Williams, Terry Gordy, you know, when they were in their heights and stuff like that. You seem to nail every aspect of the sport of pro wrestling.
I agree entirely. You see, here's the thing, man. Pollo and I are students not only of the game, we're students of human nature. There's things that people pick up on, just little small things, the way you move your hand, the way you brush your hair. If you ever notice how Jake Roberts, when he'd be coming out there to WrestleMania, he'd be staring straight ahead. And he would not look at the camera until right before he gets in the ring, and he just turns and gives him a little look, and then he gets in the ring. Little things like that are what draw people in, man. And whenever I had a friend tell me this one time, and he was absolutely right. He said, Silas, the way I describe you to people, I just say this man is born to be a professional wrestler. And this is before I was even in the business. You know what I'm saying? I've always had a loud, gregarious, outgoing personality. I've always been pretty big. You know, now I'm pretty big and jacked. And so it's one of those things. And like I said, state champion, I've had the athletic ability. I've had the charisma and the personality, the stuff that you cannot teach. You know, it's just one of those things that having all those is great. It is. Talent alone won't get you anywhere, though. You got to put in the hard work and you got to put in the dedication. That's why I'm always up there at JPWA training with Dr. Tom Pritchard still. You know, there's a lot of people I know who get to this level of success. Dude, I got a contract. A signed contract, guaranteed money from Billy Corgan. Can't go into the details, but that's, you know, neither here nor there. Got a guaranteed contract. And a lot of people thought, a lot of people said, oh man, it's easy now. I said, no, motherfucker, this is where it gets hard. You think it's like those players whenever they get to high school and they get to college and they kind of drop off a little bit. And then it's like those players who go from college to the pros and all that. It's like, nah, dude. That's when the hard work starts. When you get into it takes a lot more work to stay at the top than just getting there. And that's the thing, man. I'm willing to do that hard work. I've spent a long time in my life and a lot of years in my career beating my head against the wall to figure out how to succeed. Now I realize I ain't got to beat my head against the wall, but I still have that mentality. I will do whatever it takes. Mr. Corgan told me one time, he said, we'll keep putting obstacles in your way until we find one you can't overcome, and we'll adjust from there. And that pissed me off because I was like, you think there's an obstacle I can't overcome? You think there's something I can't do? If there's a wall in front of me, I'm going to either find a way of going around it, going over it, digging under it, and hell, if I got to bust through that thing, I'll bust through it. Ain't nothing going to stop me, man. Nothing.
there's an event happening actually right now here in Los Angeles, and once you start mentioning some of your accolades from amateur wrestling, high school wrestling, state college wrestling, and then talking about your background with martial arts, have you had any talk with Josh Barnett and doing some of those blood sport fights? Because I think you would fit in very well there.
Oh yeah, man! I've been trying to get a shoot fight with John Moxley for a while. I think that'd be a perfect place for it. Guy pretends he's a tough guy on TV just because he can bleed. Fight me, dude. We'll see how tough you are. You might need to go back to rehab once I'm done with him. Just not the kind he's used to. But and so with Josh Barnett, I used to train with a guy that trained with him. And he still like talked to Josh every once in a while. I was like, dude, I still had the beard at the time. I was like, I look just like Ray Jackson from Bloodsport. Put me on there. You know what I'm saying? And if I got to grow the beard back, I mean, the old lady, like, you know, Pollo likes this new soft baby face I got. So maybe I won't grow the beard out unless I got to. But yeah, man, I'm down 100% for it. Hey, if you know Josh, holler at him for me. Show him a picture of me. Tell him this is the largest man who ever lived. If this guy was during your time in the UFC, maybe you wouldn't have been heavyweight champion. That's how good he is.
Okay, so everyone out there who's watching this right now, make sure you use the hashtag Thrillbilly for the for Bloodsport. Maybe we can get you at least on the next one because look, I know some of the guys that are there tonight, and they are some legitimate tough dudes. I think you would be. I think they should search you out and put you in there because I mean,
let's see how tough he is.
Well,
let's see how tough I am. Let's do it. I know how tough I am. I want the world to find out.
And what better way to represent the NWA than having one of its brightest stars right there in that environment?
That's what I'm saying. I'll grab a damn hold. I'll Ashigarami their ass, and they won't even know what that is.
I don't know what that is, and I'm
right. Hit a Hiraigoshi, hit an Ippon Seinagi, brother. You know what I'm talking about.
I want to see you do the Danny LaRusso, put the Karate Kid.
100%. I'll do the Harley Davidson shirt that Ray Jackson had. All that shit. I'll do it. I'll be your Huckleberry. Come on, Josh, book me.
You've made a case that I think, again, guys, let's make sure we tweet that out there because that would be pretty
And free shout outs, but I'll give a shout out real quick. My good personal friend Chavo Guerrero is going to be there inducting someone who I study a lot for catch wrestling, Eric Paulson. He's going to be introducing him for a Lifetime Achievement Award. Love both those guys. Good shit.
So let's refocus back into the NWA a little bit. Outside of Scion, like who in the NWA do you see as somebody that could challenge you, could put a little bit of test your mettle?
Well, me and Trevor Murdoch had a 5-minute match before. It didn't last that long. I still got, a little wet behind the ears in the NWA. I'd like to have a longer match with Trevor Murdoch. I'd like to get in there and just really see what he can do. If he's still as spry as he appears. And another guy's Tom Latimer, man. Tom Latimer is shredded jacked. I could write a novel about the man's calves. They're so jacked. And he's the television champion right now. If I could, I'd feel bad collecting every single singles title along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd feel selfish to me to have the television title, the national title, and the world title, but it's a selfish business. So I guess if I had the opportunity, I'd take on Tom Latimer and take that belt from him. Let's see who's another guy they got. Oh, who's that gigantic man that Trevor fought? I'd fight that giant. That's what I'm saying. Talos, man. Yeah, that's what it was. Skyrim. That's where Talos is from. The name of there's a god in Skyrim called Talos. That's where he saw it. Son of a bitch stole it. But no, man, imagine that 7-footer taking a thrill ride. Imagine that. That'd be pretty cool.
I want to see it.
Oh yeah, I could do it too. I'm strong. I'm bull strong, baby.
Now let me ask you a question because again, you do have a past with tag team wrestling as well, and you mentioned Trevor Murdoch. What if, but the former world's heavyweight champion was the hottest prospect in the NWA, and you made them a tag team? I mean, you've got I know you're familiar with the country gentleman.
Huh.
And
Well, we'd be country for sure, but we wouldn't be gentlemen.
nothing.
Here's the thing. Trevor Murdoch and I are cut a lot from the same cloth. That's why I want to fight the guy again so much, because I liked it the first time and I got a little bit of a taste of it, and I want to see what the rest of it tastes like. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of guys, man. If we're sitting there at a bar, closing hours, right next to the jukebox, right next to the entrance, and we decided, maybe we're a little pissed off that night. We'd be the kind of guy that knock the next man out as soon as look at him. And that's what I respect about Trevor Murdoch. And the two of us, now I'm going to answer your question with a question. If Trevor Murdoch and I were to tag, who the hell would they get to fight us? Who would sign that contract? They have to be stupid.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a recipe for.
It's a bad business decision, man. They got to think about their future. They got to think about their wives, their kids, their families. You know what I'm saying? Because in a normal tag match, you got a bigger guy, you got a smaller guy tagging together. Okay, let's get the smaller guy in here, or maybe I can be quicker than the big guy. But with me and Trevor, man, one of us tags in. Oh man, I don't want to wrestle this guy. Then I tag Trevor. And, I definitely don't. They text me again. Like, I had enough, man. They wouldn't even know what to do with themselves, brother.
Okay, hear me out. Trevor, Thrill Billy versus Blunt Force Trauma. 4 guys that really, if you put them in the ring together, they probably want to beat the crap out of each other more than they want to score a victory.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do like Blunt's Force, and I can take or leave the Trauma. I've had enough of that, but yeah, I'd be cool with that, man. Hell, put us in there with anybody. Put us in there with Mecha Wolf and Bestia. Well, put us in there with anybody, man. Muscle Magnum, Magnum Dong, whatever their name is.
More belts here. He's going to have them all by the time this night's over.
It's like a Pokemon, man. You got to catch them all. Or like some people that went down to the bar and got a little thing that Ajax couldn't wipe off. Sometimes they're trying to catch it all too. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to walk around the NWA like Ultimo Dragon with like 8 titles. You're not going to know what to do with you.
Oh, man, that's the thing too. I got a guy on the Indies who carries around all my belts for me because I got so many of them. It's honestly, man, when you're trying to get that shit through luggage, dude, I went to Las Vegas the other day, carried every single title I had with me. Those people at TSA were like, what? They knew what I did just by looking at me. I can't, people would, before the whole television spot and before my star started ascending in the public spotlight, people always stopped me before. They said, man, I know you do something, man. Everywhere I walk, people look. Every time I talk, people listen. And then when I step in that ring, boys, folks get hurt.
I love it, man. I'm very excited for your future in the NWA. I'm excited for the NWA because we haven't had a guy like you, like this, in the Lightning One era. I mean, again, we have to go back a couple of years before there was somebody as charismatic and as able to back it up in the ring like you. And of course, putting you with Pollo, man, what a great strategy. I don't know who came up with that idea, but it's worked since Jump Street, man, and we're so excited to see you in the ring with so much potential, man. We're all just foaming at the bit. I mean, I literally have the chat right now putting like matches that they want to see. Thrill Billy,
every single one of them.
Thrill Billy versus Bad Dude Tito. Thrill Billy versus Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Trevor Murdoch and Thrill Billy will be an unstoppable tag team. Thrill Billy versus Odinson.
Already happened.
Bestia versus Thrill Billy.
Let's do the lucha.
Trevor and Thrill Billy equal the Redneck Wrecking Crew. There you go.
Oh, hey, who you calling a redneck, punk?
Yeah, that's not me, man. I'm reading the comments. That's not me.
I'm looking for you, Tokoshi 629. I will find you.
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Have y'all ever seen MacGruber?
Yes.
Oh, when he's looking at the license plate and he just has it written down. I'm like, Tokoshi 629, 629. Oh, Tokoshi. It's your ass.
So, and when we talked to Pollo, she said this about you, and now we're finding it out firsthand. Like, you are not a character at all. This is just who you are.
It's just me, baby.
Life of the party, man.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing, too. The only thing, I'm trying to get him to change my damn entrance music. Because I'm a metal boy. Yeah, I do like listening to me some country. I like some Colter Wall, Tyler Childress, David Allen Coe, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, all the greats. I love them all, but if I'm really getting down to it, I want to come out some fucking Whitechapel, dude. Saws the law. Let's get metal.
I like it. But see, but then, like you've got the they want to portray you as this southern man, and I'm
Whitechapel's from my damn hometown, dude. They're Southern men too. Their whole logo is a Tennessee TriStar with a saw around it.
That's fair. Hey, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, the metal capital of the world is in the South, Tampa Bay, Florida. Metal is a very Southern thing. They just don't. People like to put us in boxes, man. They like to us Appalachian Americans. They want to just say that we're this or we're that. Nah, man. We're all things and everything all at once.
And I get it, man. There's a little bit of discrimination going on.
I took Latin for 4 years, Jesus Christ.
Ite valedicte and ignum aeternum.
Habeo fala maximum et omne terra et debeodoros globalos meos.
Oh, shit. Now, see, all I know is what I learned in my English class. So, I mean, whatever you know.
Just figuring you might have been in Catholic school. Nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
No, sir. You came on here and you talked about how much of a thrillbilly you are, but you're actually a Renaissance man. If we're going to get down to it, you're college educated, and what people don't
dropped out of college.
I'm still going to say you're a college educated man.
I read books while I was there. Wasn't the ones I was supposed to be reading, but I did read them. Those Hustler articles are pretty interesting.
I only read it for the articles.
That's it, man. Can't be the idle hands of the devil's work.
So then,
gotta keep it busy somehow.
Look, obviously, with the NWA, we know they're going to Australia. Will you be able to join them when they're going to Australia, or are you hanging back home on this tour?
Daddy, those kangaroos, those koala bears, those little baby wombats hiding in their hole, think they don't know what to do when the biggest man who ever lived, the thrillbilly, is going to be coming down under on some bush, baby. And I ain't talking bush light.
I love it. Make sure you get some kangaroo jerky while you're there.
So I'm going to be down there, man, and I'm going to show them all the secret move I've been developing. The secret move, the crikey spiky. Ah!
Crikey spiky?
Oh yeah, dude! I saw that. Steve Irwin, he'd sneak up behind the wall, baby. Like, crikey, I'm going to put me thumb in his bum. I'm going to see what I'm going to do that to people there.
I love it. This is great. Let's talk about the news that broke earlier this week. We know that the Smashing Pumpkins have announced a United States tour. There are dates in California, Texas, really almost everywhere. And a lot of those shows are going to include matches from the National Wrestling Alliance. Give us a scoop. Are you going to be on those? Am I going to see you out in San Bernardino? Am I going to see you Chula Vista, Irvine? Let me know where, because I'll be there. I got to see you live again.
San Bernardino. Big in my heart. Never been there. But Frank Zappa wrote a bunch of songs about it. So, hey, I got to go to San Bernardino. And so far right now, we're going to go do this Australia thing. This is what they've told me so far. That is all I know. And I would love to give you the scoop, but we have each other's contacts. So I'll shoot you an email whenever we're coming through next, and we'll pump it up real big. I thought you were going to announce that I was the bass player for oh shit, I wasn't supposed to talk about that. No, I'm not the new bass player for Smashing Pumpkins. I'm not replacing Darcy.
Well, yeah. So Jane's Addiction will be with Smashing Pumpkins when they're in Australia. That's a good act to watch too. I mean, I know you got other responsibilities while you're there, but Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction, that's a pretty good deal.
Oh, I was excited, man. One of my favorite bands is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, but they're going to be touring Europe whenever we're in Australia. I'm like, because they're an Australian band, and so I was just like, damn it, I was hoping they were going to be on the tour. I was like, Smashing, but I love Jane's Addiction too. I believe every single one of these shows is going to be sold out because Smashing Pumpkins, huge, big band.
I was one of the guys that went down to Mexico City to see the NWA versus AAA. Now, I'm full disclosure, I'm not a huge Pumpkins fan. I'm not. Grunge music is my thing. That's when I grew up. That's still ingrained in my head. But I went down to Mexico to watch wrestling, And so instead of sticking around to see Smashing Pumpkins or Interpol or any of those other bands, my ass went to the Arena Coliseum and I watched some CMLO.
Oh, well, if you go down there for a reason, well, stick your hand out like this. Now take this other hand and do that. Bad. You should have gone and seen the Smashing Pumpkins.
Hey, man, he got my ticket money.
Well, I mean, he did. I mean, Billy Corgan is all about that BCM, that Billy Corgan money. But, the Turnstile was there, too. I love Turnstile. I was really disappointed I didn't go on that tour because I was like, man, I want to see Pumpkins and Turnstile live. I wanted to go out in the backstage and chop it up with the boys. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think especially had they booked you, I mean, there's a lot of guys that would have been good. Like Trevor Murdoch took on Psycho Clown, and I'm thinking, man, you would have been good with Psycho Clown. That would have been a fun.
That's what I'm saying.
And,
Dude, I can do right arm drags. I can lucha.
And Pollo would have been perfect in Mexico City. Like
what was it?
They blew it.
Pimpinella Espinita was one of the exoticos back then. I mean, hey, if I'm sure the tour was already sold out. They weren't worried about making too much more money. If they wanted to make a little bit more money, get a little bit more excitement, they should have put Big Daddy Thrill up there. But I had other things to take care of. I got myself I said that like an Irishman. I got myself a new trailer.
Nice.
I did, yeah. So I've been that was what I was doing all March. Besides wrestling.
Accents tonight, haven't we?
Do what?
We've gotten a few different accents here tonight, haven't we?
Oh yeah, that'll be my next step in Hollywood is my VA career.
Well, I mean, let's talk about that for a minute because again, you said TV star a few minutes ago, but I mean movie star, right? You're going to be.
You'll watch it on the TV. I'll watch most movies on the TV.
Well,
but yes, on the silver screen, I'm a star.
Thank you. Is that something that was part of the plan all along, or is this something that you're just happily falling into?
That is something that came out of the blue from nowhere, man. I was just sitting there at my house. I think we had just got done doing the tapings in St. Louis. And I was sitting there and I got a message and they said, hey, man, this guy's going to call you. It's about this role. And originally it was just to be a stuntman.
Okay.
Well, they saw that I looked exactly like Terry Gordy. They saw that I can move exactly like Terry Gordy. And they're like, well, there's no better guy to play Terry Gordy than this man. And we went down there. We got the guys in the ring. I kept telling Zac Efron, I said, man, if this whole Hollywood thing don't work out, you got a future in the wrestling business.
I keep meaning to ask you about this because obviously your body has gone through a huge transformation. And I'm not, again, I'm very happily married, but the process you went from just in November to like February, I mean, bro, you look great. You look fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Bibba.
And I saw the shirt where you got the stomach going, and you're like a little bit lower. You might have had some sand.
Shot root.
Yeah, but I mean, you're looking great, dude. Is what I'm trying to say.
You, Bubba.
And I know that's not an easy transformation. We know Zac Efron's a guy who takes care of himself. He's always been a well-built guy, but I mean, that transition that he made to be Von Erich, I mean, that dude looks great too.
Hardest ass I've ever felt in my life. Caught him on a crossbody. I was like, am I grabbing a hole? I thought I was at the river and grabbed a hold of a damn rock. You know what I'm saying? And that guy, dude, that was a big thing. Is during the filming of it, they're like, we don't want you to change your body too much. And so, but the Zach took, like, whenever, people say what they're going to say, but this dude, he had timers for when he'd drink water. Like he's like, oh, I gotta have this thing at exactly this time. Like, got it down to a science. All I did was quit drinking and start dieting a little bit. Like I already worked out incredibly hard. Like I had like I said, I trained, I lifted, I got a strength coach and everything like that. Like coming back from a broken leg, I had to do all that stuff. But then honestly, it was just like really keying in on the diet and really focusing on that and just taking it more. Like I said, I was offered a contract before I got into all this shape. You know what I'm saying? I was offered a contract before I was on the local news and before I was blowing up on Twitter and before all my reels are getting shared around and people are saying, you and Uncle Laser need to do a collab. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the contract before this. All this stuff that came after that is because of how much more I took it seriously. And that's really all it is, taking it that much more seriously. Because if you want to be who I want to be, which is a legend, a world's champion, someone with that, as Dr. Tom would say, that gravitas, where my name and my face means something in this business. You have to take it serious. Serious as a heart attack. And that's some free advice to all the kids who are starting out, just starting out in the wrestling business. I'd say take it seriously. This is still have fun, man. This is a fun business, and you can meet a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Be irresponsible responsibly, if that makes any sense. Be irresponsible responsibly, and still take it, one day at a time, like the alcoholics say. But you have to take it seriously, though, and that's all it is.
I mean, that's incredible. So as I'm sitting there looking at your shirt as we zoomed in there, and I see, your papas, and I'm now you got me thinking, like, why not put you and Brady Pierce together as a tag team?
I don't know if the guy hits hard enough.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? If I tagged him, he could break his hand.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, he does a lot of those movies and stuff too. Him playing Michael Hayes ain't the only movie role he does. But whenever you're on those movie sets, here's one of the things. I ain't going to have nobody go and grab me a water bottle. I'll just grab my own damn water. I ain't going to have nobody pamper me around. I'm going to do it myself. And I think maybe he's used to that. You know what I'm saying? With the Spectaculars and them doing the whole Chippendales thing. Yeah. And maybe he got get a little grit on him, get some of that stank on him. Maybe he's got to go down roads that I've already been down. Been down roads that I've been down twice. Maybe he's got to be living in the dirt for a little bit. Get a little taste of it. And then once he does that, maybe then I'll consider tagging with him.
I love it.
But I respect Rolando and everything he's done for this business. Beating Matt Cardona twice. He's had more heavyweight title shots than I have. Who am I to doubt Rolando? You know what I'm saying? So I got nothing but respect for Rolando. Rush, I could take him or leave him. I'd probably leave him at the bus stop wherever they found him. Whatever male strip club that he crawled out of, and then they put him in a wrestling school. Just leave him there. I'm sure he can earn $1 shaking his can around. But Brady Pierce has got to get a little tougher, in my personal opinion.
Billy, man, you are a fucking refreshment. I love this, man. This is probably my favorite interview of the year so far.
I'm the greatest man who ever lived.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not going to. Hey, let's talk a little bit here. We've kind of danced around it a little bit, but we got the upcoming NWA 312 main event. You got the World Heavyweight Champion, Tyrus. Talk about a big man. And you got Chris Adonis, another guy put together. So who does Thrill Billy want to face for that world title?
Well, personally and selfishly, I would love to face Tyrus for that world title because the man has been on Fox News for so long. And I'm tired of listening to him talk on there. And I'm tired of listening to him talk on the microphone. Let me face Tyrus. Let's go on Fox News and do it, Daddy. I'll bury you on the mic just as well as I'd bury you in the ring, son. And then Chris Adonis, I know he would be greatly honored to face me. I've heard him say it in the back. He's like, "Oh man, I'd love to have a one-on-one contest with a Thrill Billy." Well, how about you up the stakes, son? How about you win that world title from Tyrus? Then we can have our singles match, and I can take it. I don't know if you want to lose it in your first defense, but I'll take it right off you. But personally, I'd say I'd like to face Tyrus for it because I know I can get his ass up. No one's going to believe that I can. But you know what? I believe in my heart, and I know in myself that I can do it. So I'd like to pick Tyrus up, slam his ass straight to hell, and then get that 10 pounds of gold and add it to my various collection of assortment and accolades and accomplishments and everything else that I've done in my life.
When you slam him, are you going to come back on this show and tell us that you knew you could do it?
My rates will go up, though.
You got it. Understood. Look, understood.
He'll double.
Double? Okay, good. I don't know. Maybe I'll triple.
Tell you what.
We'll think about tripling.
I can get you a card to the Texas Roadhouse and an Alliance Blog T-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, get it in Tennessee. I would change the colors up, make it that University of Tennessee volunteer orange, and it's a deal.
I'm saying it right now. If you want a Tennessee Volunteer themed Alliance Blog T-shirt, you're gonna wear it. I will talk offline. I'll get you one shipped out.
Oh, and a hat. If you can see, I like hats. I got all these hats. I'm going to shout my boy out. Shout my boy out right here. Angry Lemonade. AngryLemonade.net. It's where you get all your Thrillbilly threads and various. That's a Bam Bam one. Man, that's an Abdul the Butcher one. They got all kinds of stuff, dude.
All right.
And he makes all my merch.
Where? What's the? Say it again. I'm gonna write it in the chat.
AngryLemonade.net. You can get. Oh, hold on a second. Let me pull out some. I got all kinds of my shirts too. We got my Last of the Hard Men. We got a Rat Fink, shirt. Got one of those. We got a whole bunch of them. The Garbage Pail Kids. This is surprisingly being the highest seller. Garbage Pail Kids.
I remember those.
Boom. Oh, I don't. I'm too young. He was like, don't worry, brother. They're gonna love this. I was like, sure, yeah, go for it. You're the one drawing them.
Okay, so guys, make sure you check out angrylemonade.net. Get some of that Thrillbilly merch.
Thrillbilly threads, baby.
Yeah, that's right, man. Got to get it.
We're branding.
I love it, man. And see, that's the thing, man. Maybe this is the Pollo influence on you, or maybe this is being that student of the game. But you're talking about branding. You're talking about reaching out into Hollywood. You're tiptoeing into the silver screens. You're making challenges to the man who's got the 10 pounds of gold on Fox News. I mean, you're really kind of just putting it all out there right now. And I
want to fight Tucker Carlson too. Let's do that.
I'd pay to see that.
Oh yeah, and he could choose a friend to join there with him. I don't care who it is.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, so 3-1-2 pay-per-view battle royal. Tell me about this one. How do you prepare for 20 other men in that ring?
Well, how does I was going to make a joke about someone's mama preparing for 20 men, but I didn't want to bury any of you guys.
I appreciate that.
Oh, no, actually, the first ever match I had was a battle royal, and I won it. I'm the master of the battle royal. In fact, I'll go so far as to say I invented the battle royal because they ain't never been done right till I was in there. So I'm going to it's an opportunity, man. Actually, it really is. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to teach 19 other men simultaneously that they ain't going to survive the thrill ride. Hell, I'll thrill ride every single one of them. Let's see that on TV. A thrill ride here, a thrill ride there. And you know what's the best part about it, boys? What's the absolute best part about it? Is that after I win the battle royal and I get a shot at the national title, I'm going to whoop that mask goof Scion so bad, he's going to have to put on a different mask, call himself a different name, and find another old woman to hang along with him. And then people will get him off the TV screen. You know what I'm saying? So I will be doing a public service, not only to the entire nation, bringing it back where it belongs, on the arms of the biggest man who ever lived, the Billy Silas Mason. And y'all are going to be right there with me. Oh, the people, baby, are going to be right there with me at the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro. And it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be great.
Mount Kilimanjaro?
Make the national title great again.
You're on it, dude.
Dude, I'm out of pocket. I'm perpetually out of pocket.
I don't care. Someone in the chat said it earlier, and I have to go find it because it's like, I don't care if it's sitcoms or comedy shows or whatever. If Thrillbilly's on it, I'm watching.
Bam.
You're
superstar, multimedia superstar.
Well, and Pollo vouched for you. She said, like, that's just him. This is who he is as a person. It's not a gimmick. And we're like, oh, okay, sure, okay. No, man, you're living up to the hype. Pollo certainly sold you well, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. I'm excited to see what you do at 3-1-2. I'm really hoping that you walk away from Chicago manifesting that national title shot against Scion, whether it's at the 75th anniversary show, which your boy Jay will be there.
Bubba!
I'd like to get a high five and a picture with you and Pollo for sure. And,
well, I'll dap you up, baby. I'll dap you up. Hey, no one does this anymore. No one does that. I've been trying to do the up, down, and bop with them. And every time people just give me one bop and they'll walk away. So we'll do that. We'll bring it back.
We'll bring it back. When we go out there, we did this in New Jersey this past weekend, but when we go to St. Louis, we're going to try to get all of the folks that are here in the chat right now who are coming. We're all going to try to get together, have a meal, and maybe we'll save a seat for you if you and Pollo are available.
Oh, absolutely, baby. And if I do end up going out there to San Bernardino, we'll get some of that legal danky dank from California. We'll have a good time, and you'll see that I'm the exact same dude.
And we'll get you some tacos too, some good Mexican food.
Oh hell! So that's another thing too. Y'all ain't got y'all don't know how to cook gravy out west.
No, we don't do gravy.
Mexican food's great, but I tried for like 5 years to get a good plate of biscuits and gravy. Couldn't do it.
No, actually, you know what? If you guys do go to San Bernardino, I know a spot too where you get some. It's a truck stop place, so you'll get some good big biscuits and gravy.
Well, I will hold you to that.
Yeah,
and if you off of it, if it ain't good,
go to Texas. We'll get you biscuits and gravy, and better yet, we'll get you barbecue.
Oh hell! I hear everything's bigger down there. Not just the women.
I'm bigger.
Oh hell yeah, bro! Yeah, more to love, right, Bubba?
Exactly.
Well, hey, we're not going to keep you any longer, Thrillbilly. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. I feel like I got a best friend now, so I'm glad you've been stopped by, and we wish you nothing but the best. You and Thrillbilly, you and Pollo both, just killing it in the NWA. We want to see more, and we'll make sure that we say that loud enough so that everyone in the world knows that.
Damn right. And get some of them boys in California to fly me out too.
Hey man,
Colorado.
I'm gonna. I know Dave Marquez, and I'm not saying that's gonna do anything for you, but I'm gonna tell him you need this guy on TV.
Brother, get PCW Ultra, get all those people. Get I'm working on some Pacific Northwest connections right now. Cool if I do some shout outs before we head out of here?
100%, man. Plug everything.
All right. Let's plug it. I already plugged it again, but I will do it once more. AngryLemonade.net. Thrillbilly Threads, daddy. Get your hats, get your t-shirts, get your sundry items. We got flasks coming. That is flasks that you can hide your alcoholism from your family with a thrill. But if they do find it, they'll say, damn, that's pretty cool. Where'd you get it? And you'll say, AngryLemonade.net. And then you'll be showing them who told you about it. Who told you about this great place? Well, it's Thrillbilly, TCB, on all social media platforms, daddy. That is TCB, means taking care of business. The business is hurting people, and the business, that's business, boys, is booming. Thrillbilly, TCB on every social media platform. And I'll be in Australia. I'll be NWA 312 Studio 1, Highland Park, April 7th and 8th. The biggest man in the world and the only city big enough to hold him, Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City. I don't have any sunglasses on me because it's nighttime and we're wearing sunglasses. That's a Blues Brothers reference.
Yeah, man. We got a half a tank of gas and like a pack of cigarettes, and let's go.
Full tank of gas, half pack of cigarettes. It's 109 miles to Chicago.
Then you're on it, man.
I'm on it like I bought it.
My name is Bennett, and I'm not in it.
Oh, well, hey. I don't have any other rhyming stuff, man. That was it. I had on it like I bought it, and I'm done.
All right, brother. Well, thanks again for being on, man. We're going to talk about power now, but we're going to say goodbye to you. It's like I said.
You already talked about power. You talked about me. Look at all this power, boys. Look at all that power. No one man should have all that power.
How many hours you spend in the gym?
1,000 per day, every day.
Nice.
Just doing curls, just shrugging. Farmers walks. I'll see somebody doing bench, I'll pick them up and I'll walk around with the bench and them.
I love it, man.
I'll see old ladies, I'll hold the door open for them I hold it open real hard though, so it don't.
You clench that fist while you're holding the door open.
Do it like a row. As I'm pulling, I'm like, yes. All right, thank you, boys.
You be well.
Take it easy.
That was Thrillbilly Mason if you need him. Holy shit, that is amazing.
How do you follow that?
You don't. I mean, we're supposed to talk about power. I think Jaden's going to jump on in a minute to talk a little bit about the event that we had on, or not we, he had on Saturday, the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, where we I finally got to see Busky Eric Martin. I got to see the WWGP champion, Chris Steeler. I even got to see this guy, what is his name? Dave Dahl. What a match. What is up, Jaden? Do.
It's Jaden Shark. Do.
You missed it, man. We were just talking to the Thrill Billy, and man, that guy is world class. Maybe
I missed it. I was trying to be on so much, but I had a feeling that as soon as he knew I was going to come on, he was going to leave.
Dr. Zirconium should highly consider bringing him in for an event. Excuse me.
Yeah, about to say, Dog doesn't do shows. You should do effects. You should have heard that all weekend.
I did hear that all weekend. You know, Dr. Zirconium literally threatened to punch me in the. Never mind. Sorry.
He is not a violent man. He would not do that. He would probably inject you with something first.
Yikes. So we had a great time at the meet and meet. Obviously, you were there, Jaden. We got to meet Dave Scooby. Well, you've met Dave Scooby before. I've met Dave Scooby before, but Tim and his beautiful bride, Raluca, were there. And we all got to hang out a little bit before the event. We talked a lot about some of our favorite matches after the event. We all went out to Chicky and Pete's and actually had some food and drinks and stuff. So it was like a real meet and greet type thing.
Yeah, you guys got to meet me, and you were all excited, I heard.
Yeah, everyone was thrilled. And did you enjoy your shirt, this Dog Alliance Summit?
Not yet. Unfortunately, I have to wash it before I could wear it. I have sensitive skin because I'm a sensitive lad that I am.
Man,
but I can't wait to wear it, and I'm going to be wearing it soon. I think I might actually wear it when Dr. Zirconium, he's got another college event he's working on. I might wear it then.
Another college or same college?
Technically, the first one was a university.
Oh.
So this one's the college associated with the university.
This is the Rowan College, the community college. No?
Well, it's Rowan College in Burlington County, but we'll get more into that when we get into all the news, including how wonderful and amazing it was when you guys saw the best wrestling promotion in all of South Jersey, Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, full of all those great, amazing wrestlers and Daredevil Dave Dahl.
There was another wrestling event taking place in Trenton, New Jersey, that had a lot of controversy for all the wrong reasons. And I am very much grateful that I was not at that event and I was at a real wrestling show that doesn't insult its fans, that doesn't show men genitalia during their events. I was very happy to be in Glassboro, New Jersey, rustic Glassboro, New Jersey. I got to see some new favorites. Chris Steeler's been on this podcast before. I very much enjoyed watching him in the ring live. He's even better than I thought he was. Busky Eric Martin, I think, although his suspension will keep him out of a Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator ring for some time, I can't wait till he comes back. The next event that he's on, I'm sure he's going to be a house of fire. I got to see Dylan Mesh. I saw him for the first time in person. Enjoyed his work in the opener match. Got to see Goldie from the what is it? The Monster Factory show that's on iTunes right now.
So Apple TV, yeah.
Apple TV. And that kid looks like $1 million. I think that kid has a very promising future in pro wrestling.
Hey, let me interrupt just a little bit since I sadly couldn't make it, and I need to talk to my boss about that again. But anyway, what's this I hear about shoes going flying?
Yeah, they went up into space. All right, this is what's going on. I didn't come in here to talk about how great Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator is. I wanted Jay to tell everybody how great Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators is. But Jim Molyneux wanted to make sure that the rules were being followed and things were being taken care of. And he's not a physical specimen. He doesn't need to be getting involved. But he got elbowed by Eric Martin. We'll go into that also a little later. But he one of our good wrestlers, one of the guys who's wrestled for us for a while, one of a great physical specimen in Alpha Dog Adam Chandler, was just in the back hanging with friends. And afterwards, after what happened, Jim Molyneux signed Adam Chandler to be the muscle, if you will, for Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators to make sure those rules are followed. And earlier in the evening, during that World Wrestling Grand Prix Championship match, the dog champion, Justin Adams, he very often was outside causing a lot of distraction and stuff that was going on in that. And right then and there, between that and what happened afterwards, the aftermath, Jim Oliver decided he needed some big muscle to take care of something. So he signed Adam Chandler to be the enforcer in Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, again, to make sure things are going the way they are. And during the Dog Championship main event, which saw Ty Thomas go after Justin Adams for the Dog Championship, Chris Steeler just kept trying to interfere in that match, but Adam Chandler wouldn't let him. And finally, he got in that ring and didn't listen to Adam Chandler. And Adam Chandler hit him with a Uranagi slam slammed him so hard that his shoes flew off in the air into the crowd. That was called agony of defeat right there.
And the odor that overcame me while I sat there ringside was
gave you ptomaine poisoning, huh?
Well, later Steeler would say that was a sweet smell of success, but I think it was foot fungus.
Well, he just needs to get sponsored by Dr. Scholl's.
I've seen a clip, and I saw two shoes go flying up in the air, but I only saw one come down.
Yeah, we're not sure whatever happened to the other one. We still think it's floating around the earth like a satellite or something like that. It might be stuck in the ceiling in the soon-to-be torn-down Max Fit Sports Center, or maybe somebody convinced another fan to throw it at a fan. I'm not sure throw it at a wrestler. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But I think, honestly, do we have that video there, Jay? I think the fans need to see the shoe flying incident heard around the world.
Give me a second to see if I can pull it up. You should have told me earlier. I could have had it ready.
I didn't know you were going to go there. You should have told me you were going to do that, so then we could have made this a smooth transition.
Yeah, well.
Come on, we got to segue these things properly,
Well, hey, you guys talk. I'll look for it.
Well, I could talk all I want because hard thing is not making me talk, is making me shut up.
What?
You and Thrubilly have something in common. That guy was pretty amazing. I enjoyed that very much. Let's see. I'm looking for the video. But he was great on here. Did you get to catch any of it or no?
Unfortunately, no. I was taking care of some business. I did hear somebody tell me that Kokushi guy was talking smack, and that Thrubilly put him in his place where he belongs, in the garbage. So that's really good.
Every now and then, that Kokushi guy, I mean, he's been a supporter of the show for a long time, but every now and then he kind of steps out of line. So,
hey, you could be an athlete like me, or you could be an athletic supporter like Kokushi.
There it is. Enough said. All right, I'm going to try to bring this up right now. It won't have sound, but you can see this right here. Adam Chandler with the Uranagi, and those shoes go flying.
Yeah, let's see that wide shot, peeps.
The super slow-mo is my favorite. Ty Thomas doesn't even know what to think right there. He's like, what's happening?
Like I said, two shoes went up. I only saw one come down.
I think you're listening to Thrubilly so much you picked up his accent there, DK.
May have.
What? I want to see Jay pick up Pollo's accent.
How very darn you? I think I sound like I had a stroke.
Well, we did call 911 just in case.
Well, thank you. That's probably.
Hope he choke slams you.
So it's probably a smart business decision. So, anyways, getting back to the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator event. Now, that was the last event that's going to be at the Max Fit and Sport in off of Chelsea Drive in Glassboro, New Jersey. It was
Delsey Drive. 240 Delsey Drive South End. Beautiful. Uptown. Rustic, Glassboro, New Jersey. Probably the last time I get to say that.
Yeah, and that's the shame because that was my first time, only time in New Jersey. So it was really cool to see that venue. I know there's been a lot of historic NWA matches there. Excuse me, not NWA matches, Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator.
Yeah, there's never been an NWA match there.
No, but it was really cool to see some of the that's where Ray Jazz had wrestled so many times when he was the dog champion. Chris Steeler has been the World Wrestling Grand Prix champion for so long. I don't remember a time before him with that WWGP title, and it was really cool to see that place at least for one last time, as it is now going to be going into obscurity and no longer a wrestling venue. Where do you think, outside of the Rowan College, will Dog have its next event?
We don't know. We've been pulling things around. We've called buildings, skating rinks, try maybe some old places. I do know a historic building NWA wise might be back in the picture for Clayton High School. That's something that's being worked on. I know Dr. Zirconium and myself both want to do Glassboro High School. I know we're going to be doing Rowan University again. That's a given. But we'll see. We're going to find around. We're going to find something else. Yeah, Jay unfortunately finally comes down over to Glassboro, New Jersey, and kills the building.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay.
Yes, sir.
What shots do you need to go to New Jersey?
Say that one more time.
What shots do you need to go to New Jersey? What does the health department recommend and everything?
I just know that you're not supposed to drink the tap water in Philly. I got that text message multiple times that the tap water in Philly is not safe to drink. But other than that, I think you're safe going there. If you end up in Jersey and you end up in an establishment that Jaden is there at, he'll tell you how to eat the pizza. He'll make sure that it's flavored the correct way, and the pairing beverage with it to give you an excellent meal. I had the most delicious cheese pizza I've ever had at Nick's Pizza, and according to Jaden, that particular pizza establishment had many of NWA meetings both in the past. There were times where that particular establishment, Fred Rubenstein and Phil Varlese and Jaden and Dr. Zirconium and a lot of the other folks who were representing the NWA back in the day made a lot of decisions based on what was going to happen for the entirety of the NWA. So it was really kind of cool to be there, but then the food was really good too. I had a birch beer, which is not an alcoholic beverage, but more like a root beer. And it was delicious. It was fantastic. I never had one before, and I kind of wish we had them out here because it was delicious.
I know you can get them on Amazon, and they're actually better in the bottle.
That's good to know.
But you got to make sure they're ice cold or put it in a mug that's damn near frozen.
There you go. And so the next meet and meet is going to be in St. Louis during the anniversary weekend, whenever that is. I have a carte blanche to be at that event. My wife has given me the go ahead, and when the NWA comes out here to California, whether it be in Chula Vista, which is 2 hours south of me, San Bernardino, which is literally 30 minutes away, or when it comes to Irvine, I will also be there, which is about an hour away from me. Anyone who is thinking of going to those shows, let me know. Certainly would like to meet up with you guys because that was so much fun getting to meet Tim, and I've already knew Scooby. It was good seeing him again, and of course it was great seeing Jaden.
Can't forget about Tim's wife. She was a star.
Oh, she was great. I told them both that she needs to have her a feature on the podcast, that she should be on the other Alliance guys. I might ask
the Alliance chick. By the way, though, why did they name a town in California after former WWF champion Bruno San Bernardino?
San Bernardino. That town has been around for quite some time, probably longer than the WWF. So I think that's like one of the stomping grounds from Wyatt Earp.
I think DK was there during the Gold Rush.
You're muted.
I'd be rich if that were the case.
So, again, you guys could watch pretty much all the matches from the Beware of Dog, which took place last Saturday.
Not all of them, but there's 4 of them online right now. We're working on it.
I'm sure eventually all of the matches will be up.
Yeah, let me yell at Perry to get them up there. Perry, I know you're not listening. Get him up there.
Don't yell at Perry.
Can't hear me anyway.
He's a good kid. Don't yell at Perry.
I gotta yell at him. He's hard of hearing. That's how we talk to him.
Oh, okay, well, fair enough. But if you want to yell at Dave Dahl, please feel free to.
I was actually thought it was hilarious that he was talking about some kind of show going on, and somebody yelled across the building, "That's an event."
So I'm literally sitting in the front row, DK, and an audience who are still hanging on here, and all weekend long, anytime I said show, whether it be Dr. Zirconium or Jaden, man, they'd tear into me. We don't run shows, J. Cal. We run events. My bad.
He was there to witness it, and he still couldn't pick it up.
Oh,
he witnessed the difference.
I picked it up towards the end. Dave Dahl, in the middle of the event, in the middle of a match, is jaw-jocking with some fan ringside and says, I'll stall this show as long as I want. And in the background, I hear, "It's an event, not a show." I laughed so hard. I almost was in tears. Tim's wife looked over at me like I was crazy. Everyone in the audience looked at me like I was crazy. And that was very funny. At one point, I was celebrating a move that Dave Dahl did, and someone yelled at me and said, "Why the hell are you cheering for that guy?" It was a great time.
It's true. The only time you should cheer for Dave Dahl is when he's being executed. He just got caught in his gravity. That's what it is.
Maybe. But yeah, good time, good weekend. And again, we're going to try to emulate it. We're not going to have the steak sandwiches or pizza, but I'm sure we can get some ribs or something in St. Louis. So,
how did you like that Jaden sandwich, by the way, at Goodfellas in Glassboro? The steak sandwich and roast pork combination mixed with sharp provolone and pepper jack cheese on that delicious Philly roll.
So the sandwich was really good, but I think I would have gone with all pepper jack cheese on it. That's the only thing I would have changed. The bread was delicious. The meat was really good. I'm a bigger fan of pepper jack over provolone. And then something about the sharp provolone was sharp, but it was good. But I think I would have gone with all pepper jack.
So you gotta have a complex of flavors. That's why you can go straight one flavor, but having a combination like that really brings it out. And then you learn how to drink a cherry Coke the right way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't drink cherry Coke, so it was
only Jay could do it wrong.
Yeah, that is true. It's the guy that likes avocado. He's probably expecting it to be green.
Oh yeah, as soon as I got home, I went and got a big tub of guacamole and it was just pounding it. Just went to town.
You bathed in it, probably.
No, that's
swam around and it smushed your face and motorboated it.
I motorboated other things. Anyways, let's talk about what we saw.
Did you have any roast beef?
I should call her. Power kicks off with Kratos taking on Jake Dumas. Magic. Yes.
Before you talk about that, I have to do one thing real quick. So you and Jake continue to talk about the correct way to eat pizza.
Okay. So let's, since we
lost. DK's gone. Let's talk about him now.
He could still hear you, damn it. Going back to New Jersey, not what I was expecting at all. I guess, I've never been to New Jersey before. The furthest, I have been on the East Coast before. I've been to Massachusetts, around the Boston. I've been down south, like Atlanta and Orlando and, Charlotte. But that's the most mid-Atlantic I think I've ever been. And it was a very interesting dynamic. As somebody who lives on the West Coast, the next state over to me is at least a 4.5 hour drive to Nevada, a 5 hour drive to Arizona, or even Northern California is like an 8 hour drive. So being able to end up from Philly to Glassboro in like 30 minutes was kind of like baffling to me. I'm not used to that. It was very cool to experience. Like I said, I really got to dig into rustic Glassboro, New Jersey. Even was able to go to a Wawa, had a delicious coffee, got some money from the ATM machine. It was a trip, man. It was very fun. I feel like I got to do a lot of the not just the gimmicky things, but I feel like I got to be a part of the community for those 2 days that I hung out in Glassboro. So
You got to eat. For the people that know, they know Jay got to have soft serve from a Mr. Softy truck.
That was in Philly.
Yeah.
And that's something I hadn't we have soft serve, like that's not anything new, but the way that we had it was definitely interesting. I hadn't had anything like that before. We have Dunkin' Donuts, but we don't have a Wawa. We don't have and I thought it's funny. I was in the airport flying home, and there was a Chicky and Pete's inside the airport. I was like, oh, I thought we were at like a single restaurant. I didn't know it was a chain. So
yeah, Chicky and Pete started in Philadelphia, and there's it's around this area, and they got their crab fries. A lot of people get crabs from the area, but now these crab fries, they're something interesting. It's a special seasoning. It's called Old Bay, even though that's technically that's a Baltimore type thing.
Yeah, we have Old Bay out here, but we didn't always have Old Bay. That's something that's maybe in the last 5 or 10 years that we've had out here. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool experience. And again, when the next Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator event takes place, I really encourage a lot of you guys who are close. I mean, Tim and Raluca drove 9 hours from Toronto to be out there. I think that was pretty superb. Also Jaden and I drove over to the ECW arena, it's the
2300 arena.
But that was pretty cool there was nothing going on there, but it was pretty cool to see the venue and know what has happened in that building. Some of the stuff I've seen on TV.
Did you get any pictures from there, Jay?
I did. I haven't posted any of them online yet. I have a lot of stuff. Like I took the photos. I did the tourist thing. I took the photos of Rittenhouse Square and Love Park and I mean I did a lot of that stuff too. I got to.
You saw a T-Rex not named DKM.
Yes, we did see a T-Rex, but that's all we got to see because the nasty lady at the counter wouldn't let us in.
Yeah. She didn't know how much of a star I am. She just saw you and like, oh, we can't let this California tourist in.
She's
probably
right.
gonna put avocado all over our dinosaurs.
She's right, I mean, she probably did the right thing.
So what you didn't get is the South Philly pretzel, though. So we got to get you that next time.
Yeah, and I didn't have like a real fancy bagel either. I ate a bagel, but it was just what was in the hotel, so it wasn't very good.
Yeah, we're gonna get you some good stuff too. I only gave you the sample of the stuff. Next time we'll go to Peter and Sons and wait an hour and a half for the food.
Sounds like a plan. Are you watching, or are you at least putting your ear to the ground for any of these matches that are happening WrestleMania weekend? I mean, I know that Koto Ibushi, I think I said that right. He's here in California. He participated in Bloodsport today. Are you hearing anything out there in Jersey?
No. Did Koto Ibushi take on a blow-up doll?
No. It took me a second to figure out what you said. No, he didn't wrestle the blow-up doll.
No shoot match with a blow-up doll?
No. By the way, Willie Bowen says Geno's has the best Philly cheesesteak subs.
Yeah, see, that's obviously somebody who is a tourist.
Oh, Willie. You're gonna be on.
Do you know who else likes Geno's? Do you know who else who likes Geno's subs? You'll never guess. Tyrus.
I knew you.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Tyrus likes every sub.
He never met a sub he didn't like. Hey.
Nuclear power ones doesn't matter to him. He can fit it all in his mouth.
The only sub
Deep
he
down
doesn't
his
like
throat.
is Gags the Gimp.
Oh, let's never talk.
Really, Jay? Really?
All right, so let's talk about Power before we run out of time here.
All right, I'm leaving again. No.
So we're going to do the ultra quick recap because I got to be honest, I'm fatigued from last weekend, and I know you guys say, wait, it was almost a week ago. Why are you so tired? your boy Jay is an introvert, and for Jay to spend that much time out in the public eye, I need to recharge those batteries. I'm drained, man. This whole week has been just killing me.
And that's one of the differences when you go to an event instead of a show. You actually get so much more drained because the events are so much better.
I meant the meet and meet, my friend. That was, look, I love those guys. Each and every one of them. You guys, if any of those folks come out to California, I'm going to meet you at the airport. I'm going to take you out to dinner. I'll take you to a Mexican restaurant and make sure that they hold the guacamole, or just put it on top of my plate, whatever. But that's a lot for me. Like, just being honest, like being out in that environment, that was a lot. It drained me a little bit. So
I'm surprised you aren't wearing your Canadian Lions Lance Erickson sweatshirt right now.
I after the plane ride home, it was kind of funky, so it needs to get washed. Willie says Tyrus can't fit into a submarine.
You got a point.
Can't fit on a battleship either.
All right.
Tyrus sunk my battleship
by standing on it. The show started off in Tampa with a triple threat match. We get Jake Dumas, the magician Jake Dumas.
Dumbass. All right, who's else?
Jordan Clearwater and Kratos. Now, Magic Jake Dumas was not accompanied by CJ because she was still nursing her injuries from Natalia Markova the week before. This matchup had a lot of potential. I don't know that it was as good as I would have hoped.
Because you know why? Because Billy wasn't in it.
This is true. Each one of these guys, though, definitely needed this victory, and I'm happy for Kratos to get the victory here, which he did. But I'm just wondering, like, has there been a bigger stall in the NWA than Jordan Clearwater? I mean, a couple weeks ago he was the TV champion, and now he's opening up on Power. We haven't even seen him in the ring since losing the title. It just kind of feels like maybe there's been some fall from grace for Jordan Clearwater. DK, what do you think?
We talked about this I'm getting an echo. We talked about this in a chat, and it seems like when he held the United title, they suddenly became interested in him, and then he dropped the United title, and it's like, okay, we're not as interested anymore.
Well, if they want to bring Danny Limelight in for a run with the junior heavyweight title, I'm sure he'd be open to it.
Probably. And I'd like to see that. It's just a little bit weird because it's like they were kind of they used him right for about 4 months. And then all of a sudden it's like they've gone back to using him. You know, another guy who we think could be a future top guy. And it's like that's not the way they see him. So,
well, the best part of it's part of Billy's 20-year plan. In 20 years, he'll be old enough for them to start pushing him.
Well,
there might be some truth to that, by the way.
I was going to say there's probably more truth to that than there should be. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't understand why they don't feel the need to use him better. And again, I think we see this as one of the weaknesses of
Head booking Billy.
Yeah, but if you're doing studio wrestling, then let's do studio wrestling. Let's not do small Raw or SmackDown. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't need every match to be between people who we would like to see get somewhere. That, you know, bring in enough true enhancement talent to enhance your guys. And, you know, if you don't, you can give Clearwater, Mims, and some of these other younger guys growing a chance to gain some credibility. But it seems like every time they take a step forward, then, you know, Billy decides he wants to really push somebody. And so he puts, you know, he reduces these guys into an enhancement talent role. It's a little bit sad.
Hey, Billy, if you're looking for a good jobber, look for Daredevil Dave Dahl.
And he should be in matches with the biggest, most ornery guys. Put him in the ring with Throwbilly 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, Thrillbilly with Trevor Murdoch, with Jack Stain, with who else is big and nasty? DK when he's a nasty cat, when he's a grumpy cat.
Latimer. I think Latimer could,
Yeah, Vladimir Koloff would be probably really good.
I think you meant Vladimir. I think you meant. Never mind.
Vladimir Koloff. Vladimir Koloff. Yeah.
All right.
He used to be. He used to be from the Great Britain. Now he's from Russia. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Understood.
Or maybe he actually meant Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad the Impaler.
They'd have to use a telephone pole for a big enough impaling pole for Dave Dahl.
Most people don't know how they really impaled them.
Yeah. It was not a comfortable situation for them.
No.
This isn't a comfortable situation for me. Hey, Hassan, what's going on? Hassan Terrell, thanks for checking
Any
us
relation
out.
to Taryn Terrell?
I don't know. Luthez is late, but man, you need to go back and watch the beginning of this episode because the Thrillbilly was probably the most fun we've had on this show since Pollo.
It's nice to have somebody else charismatic on this show besides myself.
It's nice to have someone else carry the show besides you for once.
Yeah, my back's starting to hurt.
Yeah, well, you got the day off today. All right, so let's get to more power. We're gonna go through this quickly because, like I said, I'm honest. I want to call it a night. We got the championship title opportunity match. We had Blunt Force Trauma, which is Carnage and Damage, taking on Magnum Muscle, which is Dak Draper and Mims. We were expecting some shenanigans. We got them. Surprisingly, there was no Aaron Stevens initially, but the match did go to a no contest. And, I don't know what the goal is with Blunt Force Trauma. I really feel like this is a tag team that could really step up the entire division. And I love La Rebellion. I think Mecha Wolf and Bestia are an amazing tag team, and I hope to see them as tag champions for a little bit longer. But I very much feel like Blunt Force Trauma could be a good step to creating a homegrown tag team for the NWA. DCAM, what did you think about this match, and what do you think about what I just said?
Well, let's talk first things first, so to speak. Why is you have as many titles as the NWA has? Do we have to start putting number one contenderships on the line?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the dumbest ass thing I've ever heard. And so now the next question, if you have a number one contender and you want them to look good for their upcoming world title match, why do you put on this match?
Right.
And then last but not least, why do they keep doing this with Blunt Force Trauma where Aaron Stevens just basically blows things for them? These are the things that make me wonder what Billy smokes or snorts or does whatever before he books these shows.
Sure.
I really want to understand the thinking, the Vince McMahon style insane thinking that goes on for some of these things. I mean, look, this show can be summed up in the first match, which was, it wasn't that bad. And that's about the best thing you can say.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It was a stupid thing for me. I didn't care for it. And, it did nothing to build up their challengers for the title. And And, let's be honest, because of the way they've done Mims in the past, it's not like you actually believe there's any chance that this team will do anything.
No, and I don't. As much as I like both Dak Draper and Mims, and the other Alliance guys kind of were talking about this, they are floating the idea of what to do with Mims. But at this point, I don't. I want to see this guy succeed, right? I want to see him thrive in that NWA, especially because he was there since day one. He was one of the first matches on this program, and I want to see him succeed just because I feel like I've been invested in the brand Mims for such a long time. But I feel like every time they get close to doing something good with Mims, they pull the rug out from underneath you. I feel like this is the time where let's take 2 steps back. Let's start rebuilding Mims. Let's maybe make him a potential challenger for Tom Latimer at the TV title. And perhaps when Tom Latimer eventually becomes the Lucky 7 winner and has that opportunity to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold, that Mims is the guy that takes that belt in that vacancy that will be created. That's just my hopes anyways.
So what was next? I don't even remember.
I have the brief notes here, so I'm not talking about the promos and stuff. Oh, we forgot about the promos, which it was Aaron Stevens talking for Blunt Force Trauma and Mims and Dak Draper. And those promos were pretty good. Like, Mims could talk on the mic. He's very well spoken, very thoughtful when he speaks. I enjoy his promos. Dak Draper is a guy who I feel again, good promo. I feel like he could be something bigger than what he is. I don't know if it's for, I don't know if they don't have anything better for him, but I feel like that's the guy that should have been national champion. Like, the storyline with Sion has kind of fizzled out, and you had that opportunity to put the belt on Dak Draper at the not enough said hard times. You could have put the belt on Dak Draper, and they didn't. And I felt like that was a big misstep for them.
The problem is they have 50 billion titles, and
it still doesn't feel like it's enough.
Well, the problem is they don't give you challengers that make you want to see the champions defend the title on a regular basis. It's like you treat Mims the way they've been treating Mims, and then it's like, his first draw against Jordan Clearwater in the title defense, he looked like he was getting ready to lose. The draw didn't save the champion. The draw saved the challenger.
Yeah.
The face challenger was almost beaten cleanly by the heel champion, and he got saved because it was a draw. That made no sense.
Yeah.
And then, you don't have to win titles right away. You don't have to be up there. But you want to have a realistic belief that, man, this is something that's possible that we can look at. And if you're going to put a title on somebody like Mims, it's going to be the TV title. I don't have an objection with somebody like Latimer holding the TV title for a while. To thrust him into a storyline, especially if it has to deal with if he can get his Lucky 7 in less than a year.
Yeah.
And challenge for the world title. Sure, but let's build these people up. Again, let's get the enhancement people in there. Let's get the people in there that I can see Mims win for 8 straight weeks.
That's a great point. 100%.
And then I feel like, okay, here's Mims. He's winning. He's on a deal, and he's going to challenge for the TV title. Now it's like, okay, he's been on a roll, but that's not what they do. It's like they got titles, but they don't have a big roster, and they have challengers for the titles, but they do nothing to make you want to see the challenge for the title. The one exception right now is probably Thrillbilly, and I would say that's probably 90% Thrillbilly and Pollo and 10% Billy.
Yeah.
And And look, I'm not. If he's giving him this opportunity, bless him. Bless him for letting him go. But yeah, that's let's get a little more build up like we're getting with Thrill Billy. Let's get a chance to see these guys come in and win. We're not WWE, Impact, AEW 50-50 booking. We need to see these guys win.
I was just showing off my
Terry Gordy.
I didn't know I had it, but
Tyrus.
my Thrill Billy Silas Mason action figure. I didn't know I had one, but turns out I do. Put him right next to Ric Flair over here. Yeah, you said something, the 50-50 booking. The NWA is one of the few promotions that could benefit from not doing 50-50 booking, because there are so many guys that are essentially enhancement that shouldn't be getting pushes. And for a guy like Mims, who you just said, oh, he should go through 8 weeks on TV and keep winning every time I see him. Yeah, but at this point right now, his value to me, and this is somebody who appreciates him as a wrestler, is almost to zero. So now's the time to use him to help get somebody else over, to help push somebody else over to that next spot. Maybe a Thrill Billy. Thrill Billy definitely could benefit from a victory from Mims, and it wouldn't kill Mims's career because, well, he lost to the Thrill Billy.
And, let's get this. When I say 8 weeks, they don't even have to be straight weeks.
No.
I mean, you can spread 8 weeks out over 3 months, couple wins here, a couple wins there. That some can be in tag teams, some can be. But let's, if it's going to be a tag team, let's let him get the pins. Let's do something so that when I see Mims, I go, okay, here's a guy that wins or is on a winning streak or can win. And then you put him up against, your TV champion.
Yeah.
You don't want to put the TV title on him because you're pushing Latimer? Fine. It's okay for him to lose to Latimer. But now that he's lost to Latimer, put him back in the ring. And for the next 8 weeks, he needs to win, 6 times or, 6 times or something like that. We want to see him winning more than he's losing.
Especially
a lot more, not just
Yeah, and especially when the stock is down as it is. I don't think anyone believes that Magnum Muscle is going to go to Chicago and win those titles. Do you?
Not only do I not, but it almost seems like a joke tag team defense.
Yeah,
that seems more like something I would see on an episode of Power to help put over the champions. That would be a non-title match on Power. I'm not going to buy a pay-per-view to see that match. And, when we go through the show next week, when we talk about the pay-per-view, we'll talk about, is there anything we really want to see that, what's selling us this pay-per-view match other than the fact that we're diehard NWA junkies?
Just looking at the matches, really, Camille versus La Rosa Negra has some interest to me. Max versus Kenzie has some interest to me. But other than that, they announced today that we've got Bully taking on Tom Latimer, a non-title match. Excuse me, didn't Bully Ray, wasn't that supposed to be a Matt Cardona thing? Is Matt Cardona already done with the NWA? Is that why Tom's getting this opportunity? And no shot at Tom. He's a hell of an incredible athlete. I don't want him out there doing a job to Bully Ray. The Bully Ray is good for what he is, but I don't need him, coming out there and hurting the guy that Tom Latimer, guy that I've invested in.
Does it matter if Latimer wins? Is it okay, or is it still almost like a so what?
It's very much like a so what, because it's not Bully Ray isn't helping Tom Latimer's shot at becoming the next world's heavyweight champion, right?
Right. And this is my point. We got a match where Latimer has nothing to gain, really.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he'll get a victory over Bully Ray. Well, okay. Sorry, Bully Ray's another one of those guys that's past his prime. Probably should honestly stop being in the ring. And he's stiff when he moves.
I'll say this: there is value in Bully Ray. There's things you can do with him, but I don't know putting him in a match with a champion, in a non-title match is going to do anything for anybody. A non-title match with the television champion. Where's the rub?
In the occasional specialty match, I suppose he would be fine. I mean, who did he have that no tables match with? Was it Odison? Is that who he was feuding with?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I can't even remember for sure. So what good has it done Odison?
None.
And, these are the things I'm talking about. So if he's in there with Odison, where Odison wins the match because Bully put him through the table when it was a no tables match, which is every freaking normal match out there.
Yeah.
What have you done? Who have you helped? How did that get Odison over? Oh, well, the crowd started cheering for him. Well, sure, they started putting him in with the ring with the other heels, and the fans preferred him. Yeah. And then he started wrestling more like a face. Come on, don't give me this shit. What was the next match so that we can stop?
The next match was we had the number one contenders match between Joe Alonzo with his manager Jamie Stanley, taking on Alex Taylor of the Ill Begotten with Danny Deals. Now the stipulation in this match was that if the Alex Taylor were to lose this match, that the Ill Begotten would be forced to break up, in which oddly enough, that happens. The close of the match, it was actually a very competitive match, and it's a match that I wouldn't mind seeing again between Joe Alonzo and Alex Taylor, two very good athletes in the junior heavyweight division. Danny Deals offers Alex Taylor a chair right in front of the referee, which is like, you're just kind of like, what are you doing there, buddy? And then, of course, the referee sees it. Taylor refuses the chair, which gives the opportunity for Joe Alonzo to steal this victory. Like, it was a pretty good match before that. It was very equally matched. And honestly, Taylor to me looks like the guy that should be junior heavyweight champion. But of course, that's not how it came out. And the Ill Begotten, as far as the NWA goes, the Ill Begotten are no more. Of course, Jeremiah Plunkett, Danny Deals, and Alex Taylor are still teaming on the Indies. They have a lot of dates set up. I guess they'll work out those dates before they officially close that chapter. But, I kind of felt like the Ill Begotten boys had ran its course. The Ill Begotten was the invention of Captain Yuma, Rush Freeman, and Alex Taylor would join the group, and then eventually Jeremiah Plunkett and Danny Deals. They never realized their full potential, and maybe that was what it was supposed to be. But I always felt like they probably could have been contenders for the U.S. tag titles, but even then, I don't think they ever won a match, or very few matches. So the Ill Begotten are gone, but Alex Taylor will still be teaming with Jeremiah Plunkett on the Indies.
Okay, first of all, I thought it had already been worked out that Joe Alonzo was getting the next title shot at.
The way that it was worked initially was that Kerry said that for Joe Alonzo to get a shot at 312, that he'd have to beat an opponent of Kerry's choosing. It seems like they just kind of dropped that whole thing and went with Alex Taylor with the idea that Danny Deals brokered the deal in a way that he had to give up something to get something. So he lost.
Okay, that was they had kind of set up this idea that it was going to be Kerry versus Alonso to begin. And then Kerry decided to channel his inner Nick Aldis. And, no, you can't just have a title. We don't know why. Again, champion's just all of a sudden magically in charge of his title challengers. So, you got to do this. And then they dropped the storyline altogether.
Yeah.
And so now Joe Alonso's versus Alex Taylor, who already had a title shot, came up short. And he did look good in that match. This match, isolated, if you take around all the bullshit around it, was fine. I mean, didn't love it, didn't hate it. But they have this thing where the Ill Begotten have to split up, even though why would Joe Alonso or Jamie Stanley care about the Ill Begotten being together or not together? But we got to do something to make it interesting, even though it added no interest to it whatsoever.
Well, I guess a shot at the title wasn't interesting enough for him, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Why would anyone care about that?
Yeah.
And so we have listed, and not that I have a problem with the Ill Begotten breaking up. They could have just broke them up.
Yeah.
I mean, happens all the time.
Ask Billy Corgan. He does it all the time.
But people just go their own ways. There doesn't even have to be a story behind it. Just, okay, tag team, they never worked. So now all of a sudden so-and-so is working harder. I'm going to jump back to USA real quick. It was like PJ Hawks teaming in the mixed gender thing with the young Page girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are they a team?
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense either.
And not only why are they a team, but it's like I kept expecting something to happen that would cause friction between PJ, the face, and Page, the sequel, the heel. And it's like, no, there was none of that. And so it's like, instead we have to have this ripoff of the now canceled Davey Richards and why don't they cancel Angelina Love thing from back. I mean, they're playing the exact same thing from TNA. And I don't know if this was when Billy was in TNA or not.
Probably.
Because I just don't remember. I try to blot some of those memories out. They just come back. And so they're doing that exact same gimmick. And it's like, and they're putting them in with, come on, PJ Hawks should be, again, somebody you're building up. Somebody who, okay, we have two second generation wrestlers going after the junior heavyweight title. No, we're not going to have that. We're going to team him with somebody else. That makes no sense teaming him in an intergender match. So we can put over this team of a young guy that no one gives a shit about. I mean, honestly.
No, you're right.
No one gives a shit about him. The Make-A-Wish Davey Richards, as Jaden calls him.
I don't say Make-A-Wish. I said the Davey Richards from Wish. And anyway, is he still canceled? I thought he had a valid answer or something.
Oh, I don't know. He was canceled last I heard. I don't keep enough with him.
Last I heard, he was canceled. I hadn't heard anything other than that.
So, anyhow, and then after that, so, that was a joke on that show. On this show, this was a joke. I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. But speaking of jokes, what did you even pay attention to the Gags the Gimp interview segments?
No, I blocked it out. I mean, look, I heard it. I know what it was. They said May Valentine had been taken removed from the building. So I don't know what that means. Maybe it's another Aaron Stevens thing. I don't know. But Gags pantomimed his way through a interview promo with first La Rosa Negra, who on her charisma alone carried that like 34-second piece of garbage to anything. It was kind of dumb. He had a note. He handed her the note that said that you give off stalker vibes. And then she explained, like, no, I'm not a stalker. I really like Camille, but, when I see her in Chicago, we're going to have a match. And she did a great job of hyping it up, but, like, this was dumb. You only have so many hours until 312. You've got a few more minutes of NWA being able to hype up this pay-per-view, which is just a week away, right? It's a week from today, if I'm not mistaken, right? Tomorrow. And tomorrow, excuse me, a week from tomorrow. And what are they doing to hype it up? Well, we got this guy in the mask. He doesn't talk, and he's gonna interview people, and they're gonna respond to him.
Well, I want to explain it like this. This is God honest truth. Maybe little Rosa Negra was out there, and maybe she did give a. I'm sorry, you lose all credibility just by saying you like Gags. But maybe she did give this glorious thing and have all this charisma and everything like that. Do you know who didn't see it? Me, because I fucking fast forwarded through the entire thing. It was so disgusting. And so I can't comment on either one of his backstage things other than to say that is the stupidest thing they have ever done, and they've done lots of stupid things.
Yeah. And
give it 6 months and it'll not be so stupid. Not because it's gotten any better, just because they did so many stupid things. It's better by default.
Yeah, that's, sometimes the NWA is the epitome of just when I think that I've seen the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, they'll shock me and amaze me by doing something even dumber.
Well, so there's that. And then that brings us to the main event of the evening, which is going to be the tag team match, which they kept saying was an exhibition, was EC3 and Black Cheese, which is the Church's Money and the Overman, Control Your Nerve. I don't even know what to call EC3 in this anymore in the NWA because he has multiple nicknames. They took on the team of Tyrus with Eric Jackson. Now, before you even start, DK, no, they did not give me a reason why Eric Jackson was the tag team partner. There was nothing specified as to why he was sharing the ring with EC3 and Black Cheese. It made absolutely zero sense. It didn't. No reason for it. The only thing that I can think is that they in the back decided that Black Cheese is on the smaller side. So if we use this kid Eric Jackson, who's also on the smaller side, perhaps that would get a little bit more size in the match where it would make a little bit more sense. But
they're going to use somebody Black Jesus size. Why didn't they get Rolando?
See, that would have probably been an even better move, honestly. It's not to poop on Eric Jackson. It's just that he has no connection to this. He's not even a mid card. He's an enhancement talent. Why are you putting an enhancement talent in the main event? I don't get it. Why is an exhibition match main eventing a TV show? I don't get it. But this is what we got, and the match was, it was fine, but it was again, I'm getting worked up over here. The other Alliance guys mentioned yesterday, like, why did this match feel like it was setting up EC3 versus Tyrus when the pay-per-view match is Chris Adonis versus Tyrus? And the other side of that too is, every single promo that they've had with Chris Adonis has been backstage without the fans in attendance. And I'm wondering if maybe there was a last minute decision to change EC3 and Tyrus to hold off for another pay-per-view, and maybe Adonis got the match after the fact, after these segments were taped, because continuity-wise, it doesn't make sense for EC3 to have this feud with Tyrus that isn't really going anywhere as of yet. And Adonis, the man who is wrestling for the title, they've barely acknowledged on TV that he's wrestling for that title. We haven't even seen Adonis in a match since the Champion Series.
Was he there?
He was part of the backstage segments, which I'm assuming they were filmed there, the empty arena segments.
Could have been filmed anywhere.
Sure, it was in front of a ring. It alluded to it being the Tampa arena, but who knows?
My thing is that he probably was not there for the tapings. That they either filmed him, like, was he there at the pay-per-view? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so, because that's where they did the finals, right?
Yeah.
So my guess is either before the pay-per-view, they probably taped his things. He probably wasn't available for the actual TV tapings. So, I mean, that's a guess. Do not know 100% based on the way this has worked.
Adonis did wrestle Trevor Murdoch at the pay-per-view at Enough Said. Then the following night, wrestled with Rhett Titus against the Fixers, and when they represented Bobby Fulton. His next match was on February the 17th when he wrestled Nick Aldis for the Stu Hart Heritage title in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And then his next match was March 4th as part of the Trios, teaming with with Kratos and Tom Latimer. So as you can see, it wasn't like he had a whole bunch of stuff on his schedule. Just doesn't seem like they wanted to use him, that much. I mean, the match between Adonis and Titus was filmed on the 12th. His match with Nick Aldis for the Stu Hart Invitational title was on February the 17th. So there's about a week in difference there, 5-day difference. So wasn't like he was rushing off the plane.
That doesn't mean he didn't have other things planned. I mean,
Sure.
I don't want to get into what his schedule may or may not be. But then my question is, why do you do that match now? Unless you're planning on changing the title, why do you do that match now when you can't hype it the way it needs to be hyped? When you can't have the stare downs and the, face-to-face confrontations. I don't know. Again, I'm not sure who smokes what when we come up with these things.
Yeah. So let's get to the match then. What did you think of the actual match between the four of them, Eric, Jackson, and Tyrus versus EC3 and Black Cheese?
I mean, again, if you isolate it and you only care about the bell to bell thing and get rid of all the garbage around it, it was fine. I mean, I didn't sit there and go, oh man, this really sucks. I thought, this, it is what it is. They all played the role they were supposed to play, but it was just like, again, the buildup seems to be EC3 versus Tyrus, which is kind of scary in that you go, well, Tyrus will probably retain the title, and then maybe that's the next thing they're going to look for.
Yeah.
I pointed out, I go, you're the two people that were in the two worst matches at the last pay-per-views who they're putting in the ring together. And honestly, the reason the matches were as bad as they were because of those two people.
Yeah.
We know that Riley was 6 years of ring rust, but EC3 didn't do him any favors. He didn't work with them in a way that made the match good. He worked with them in a way that made it seem like the guy had 6 years ring rust. I mean, that seemed to be the purpose of the match. Why the announcers we're going, well, who's EC3 doing this for? Is he doing it for Riley, or is he doing it to have an easy opponent for himself? Well, why are we asking that stupid question?
Yeah.
Well, where has EC3 shown that he's for anybody other than himself? So he puts on a bad match intentionally. Tyrus is in a bad match. Why do I want to see those two wrestle? And if they do wrestle, God, I don't want it to be for the title, because I don't want that to be a world title match.
Yeah.
And so, please let's have Scion retain, and let's have Adonis win, and EC3 can cost them the title, and maybe just by standing out there or something, and then we can then we can have that storyline separate from the prestigious title, and we can ignore it easier.
Sure.
Which is what I really want, is I want to ignore it easier. It's hard to ignore when it's the world title.
Personally, I want to see Tyrus take on Daredevil Dave Dahl in a Golden Corral buffet death match where both of them eat so much they die.
Mutual death matches are my favorite. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week. If you're just now tuning in, make sure you watch the beginning of the show. It's a lot more fun. Power in and of itself wasn't it wasn't good. USA wasn't any better. This was kind of a bad week for the NWA. With any hope at all, we'd get the matches from Mexico City next week, but who knows if that's going to happen or not. I will be here on Tuesday to talk to you for the pre-party.
Pre-party.
We've got Tim and Jeremy and Dave Scooby filling in on Wednesday with the other Alliance guys, and we'll be back here again on Thursday to hopefully talk about a much better show than this one. I'm trying to work to get our boy Jeremiah Plunkett back on. I think he would be fun to have on here again with the Alliance guys.
Plus, I heard you might be still working out the details. You might be talking to Danny Cage of the Monster Factory soon too.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do that soon. I don't know if we're going to get that before Easter, but hopefully we do get that sooner than later, because I feel like that'd be a fun conversation, especially the fact that they're doing the Monster Factory on the Apple TV. Definitely something.
Apple TV.
He also needs to have more shorts from the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators event. Do you have any more of those that are going to be coming up?
They're going to be coming up. I started preloading some of them up. I don't want to just do one thing, because I feel like that I want to space it out and give people different variety. That's what keeps them coming back for the shorts. But did you see that we had over 2,000 views of Busky body slamming Mr. Chris Steeler? It doesn't take much to get the fans excited. But that's going to do it. We're going to call it a night, mostly because I'm exhausted. But we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Thanks for all you guys who've been a part of the chat. Two more plugs. If you need some energy, W's the way to go. You can order that merchandise in the link bio. And then, of course, our T-shirts. We're going to be adding some new designs again really soon. This one, I don't know. You guys let me know if you want to be able to buy this shirt. This was exclusive for this weekend. Let me know if you're interested in it. But that's going to do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And as soon as I find the video, we're going to close it out. We'll see you at the matches. Good night now. Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.